It's the NFL. It's on Westwood One.
Welcome, everybody, to downtown Minneapolis for Game 2 of our NFL Divisional Playoff doubleheader. It's the NFC North champion Minnesota Vikings taking on the NFC South champion New Orleans Saints. Today's broadcast of the National Football League playoffs on Westwood One is sponsored by Barbasol Shaving Cream, Ford Trucks, Morton's The Steakhouse, Navy Federal Credit Union, Kidda Fire Safety, Geico, by Granger, and by NFL.com. Coast to coast and around the world, welcome to Minnesota. It's the playoffs on Westwood One. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan along with NFL quarterback Trent Green. Our sideline reporter this afternoon is Laura Oakman, who will join us shortly from downstairs. Scott Graham is in our Westwood One studios. He'll be joining us moments from now as well. Welcome to Game 2 of our divisional playoff doubleheader here at the U.S. Bank Stadium in downtown Minneapolis. In Game 1, Jacksonville upsets the Pittsburgh Steelers 45-42. More on that later. But first, it's time for the Saints and the Vikings. We say good afternoon to Trent Green, where I'm sure you were just watching both the quarterbacks, a Hall of Fame-bound quarterback in Drew Brees, a young upstart in Case Keenum, warming up for big games for both of them today.
Well, it's been outstanding, the season that these two quarterbacks have put together. They're number 1 and number 2 in the NFL in completion percentage. Drew Brees leading the NFL with 72% complete, and Case Keenum 68% complete. So I anticipate both quarterbacks playing very well. If you look at Drew Brees, his numbers have changed because the expectations of what he needed to do with this offense throughout the season, better defensive play, better running game, so he didn't have to put up the numbers that he's accustomed to in the past. And then Case Keenum getting an opportunity because of injuries to Bradford and Bridgewater.
All right, next up, we're going to check in with Laura Oakman. This is Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. Welcome back indoors here in Minneapolis. Let's check the weather report for the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, brought to you by Rain-X. Rain-X has 2-in-1 wipers that clear your windshield and repel water. Rain-X, outsmart the elements. Outside, it is 13 degrees. There's a lot of wind and snow falling. But Laura Oakman inside, it is 72, and that's where you are on our sideline as we say good afternoon.
Thank goodness for that. Kevin, no team has allowed fewer yards or points this season than the Vikings. Ask Mike Zimmer about the mentality, and he'll tell you they don't want to give an inch. They have an edge to them. Cornerback Xavier Rhodes being one of the edgiest. He told me it doesn't matter what defense you're talking to. We're all going to say the same thing. We have to stop the run and make whatever team we're facing one-dimensional. But Drew Brees is Drew Brees. Their backs are great, but we got to stop Drew from making those throws. We have to stop him from being so accurate. We have to get him to hold the ball and second-guess his throws to the point he's pulling the ball down again. Yes, that sounds good in theory, but even Xavier paused after saying that and added, but I did say Drew Brees is Drew Brees, right? Kevin, I don't know if he was saying that to me or just out loud to the football universe, but yes, 17 seasons in, Drew Brees is still Drew Brees.
Hey, Laura, look out those windows in the end zone, and look at all that snow, and look where you could be, and look where you are. Not too bad, huh?
I will take this view every day and twice on Sundays.
The opening kickoff between the Saints and the Vikings is coming up as you're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One.
Welcome back to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. It's time for our Wrangler flashback.
This place is getting silent. Here we go. Hartley with a 40-yard attempt for a win and a game to the Super Bowl. The kick, spotted kick, it's up, it's good! The New Orleans Saints have won the NFC Championship. They're going to the Super Bowl for the first time. This has got to be the greatest win in New Orleans since Andrew Jackson in 1814.
That was Dave Sims with the call on Westwood One. Garrett Hartley split the uprights in overtime when the Saints and Vikings last faced off in a playoff game back in 2009. It was the NFC Championship game, kicking off a celebration for the ages on nearby Bourbon Street. Minnesota could only contemplate what might have been as they were undone by 5 turnovers, including a Brett Favre interception in the final minutes of regulation. The Vikings were driving for the winning score when that pick was made. The win by the Saints and a subsequent victory in Super Bowl 44 would be seen as a symbol of the rebirth of New Orleans, which had been devastated by Hurricane Katrina 5 years earlier. That is our Wrangler Flashback, brought to you by Wrangler Outdoor, pants and shirts with quick-drying, water-repellent fabric and FPF 30 protection. Wrangler Outdoor, clothing with everyday versatility and outdoor credibility. Try them on today. We've had the flip of the coin. The Vikings won. They have deferred. The Saints will receive. So the crowd is noisy. Yeah, the Saints winning last week, Trent, in a 31-26 decision over the Carolina Panthers. What did you take out of that, and what benefit might there be playing 1 week or having a week off, as is our situation today?
Well, I think what you take away from the Saints' victory last week is it was a different formula than what they'd had all season. And even though Drew Brees put up very good numbers, it wasn't typical of what the Saints and what Drew Brees number-wise have put up in previous seasons. They didn't rely on him as much because they had such a magnificent running game with the combination of Kamara and Ingram. So I think that was the thing that stood out to me, is they can beat you in different ways, running the ball and with their passing game, obviously with Drew Brees. And to your second point, whether it's good to have that off week or not, the off week is good if you have some guys banged up, because you want to get your guys as healthy as possible going into the playoffs. And then as far for the Saints playing that first week, you try and carry that victory and keep that momentum going into this game.
It's time for the opening kickoff, brought to you by Little Caesars, where you can enjoy a large classic pepperoni pizza for only $5. It's hot and ready all day, every day at Little Caesars. Plus tax at participating locations. The Vikings will kick off. It's left to right. It's deep in the end zone, and Alvin Kamara, the rookie out of Tennessee, grabs it and falls to a knee in the back of the end zone. Touchback to the 25. Here is a 1st and 10. Last week, Drew Brees for New Orleans threw for 376 yards against the Panthers, 70% completion. But as you said, I mean, this guy is bound for the Hall of Fame, over 70,000 passing yards in his career.
Just what he's been able to do throughout his career. And you have to remember, he had nearly a career-ending injury his last year in San Diego with that shoulder. So the fact that he's come back and put together this type of career has been impressive.
He's under center from his own 25. He's got Ingram in the backfield. There's a 4-man defensive front, 1st and 10. Handoff to Ingram over the right tackle. Got a block as he got the handoff at the 25. Runs outside the hash mark to about the 30. On a gain of 5, tackled at the 30-yard line of New Orleans.
Well, that's going to be the combination that we see from the Saints, is a little bit of Ingram here and there, and Kamara as well. He does an excellent job catching the ball out of the backfield. A huge weapon when it comes to receiving from the backfield. 81 catches on the season.
The Saints in their white jerseys and black pants and gold helmets. Vikings in their purple jerseys, white pants, purple helmets. 2nd down, 5. Brees in the gun. Flanked by Kamara at his own 35. Looks into the nickel. Shotgun snap, line drive throw, far sideline, short and incomplete at the 35 for the running back Kamara. He was covered on the play by Andrew Sendejo along with Eric Hendricks. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Saints on the game-opening drive.
Well, Kamara came out of the backfield to the right side for Drew Brees. He goes up to 5 yards to get to the 1st down depth, and he gives a little nod move on Eric Hendricks. Hendricks does an excellent job of undercutting the route and not allowing a passing lane for the completion and the 1st down to bring up this 3rd down.
Nickel secondary for the Vikings. 3rd and 5 for the Saints at their own 30. Brees in the gun, shotgun snap, drops back 5, looks left, short pass to his left. It's dropped by Kamara in the flat at the 26. It was a little wide. He had to lunge. He tried with one hand. He could not get it. It was covered on the play. It's 4th down, and the first possession will result in a punt from the New Orleans Saints.
Man, Kevin, who was able to get pressure that time on Drew Brees was Tom Johnson, the former New Orleans Saints, was able to get pressure right around Drew Brees' feet. Anytime as a quarterback you have people around your feet, that makes you a little nervous, and Brees hasn't been under a lot of pressure this year. They do an excellent job of protecting him.
Morstead of the Saints will punt from right to left. Sherrill's under it. The catch at the 25. Breaks a tackle. Runs to the middle. Breaks another tackle. Runs on the hash mark to the 40. Comes to the near side, the 45. And the punter got him, but Morstead is down. Morstead is slow to get up. The punter for the Saints made the tackle. A good return after a 44-yard punt. And Gerald's returns at 21 yards. With Trent Green, Kevin Harlan, we're in the Grainger broadcast booth here in Minneapolis. The products and services you need when you need them. Grainger's got your back to help keep your facility running. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Well, you couldn't have asked for a better start if you're the Minnesota Vikings. On defense, you get a 3-and-out. Then on your punt return, you get a nice return, a good 20-yard return or plus. And now you're going to start with your offense right around midfield.
Keenum is under center from his own 45. Gets the snap, hands off to Murray, who runs over the center. Crosses the 45, takes it between the hash marks to the 49 of Minnesota. And Trent picks up 4 on first down.
Well, and you go back to the first matchup between these two all the way back in week 1 when the Vikings won 29-19. It was the passing game and Sam Bradford that really put up the numbers that allowed him to get that victory. But today they're going to try bringing some balance with that running game and Case Keenum with the play-action pass.
Second down, 6 from the Viking 49, and it's a handoff from Keenum to Murray, who runs over the left tackle past the 50, over the logo, and down to the 46-yard line of New Orleans. Brought down on the play by Rankins on a gain of 5. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Vikings with no score. We're just into this game, starting with 13:15 clock ticking in the first.
Well, and you can see, Kevin, that they're setting up that play-action pass. First down run right up the middle, gain of 5 yards. Second down run right up the middle, nearly another 5 yards. This brings up 3rd and short. Vikings
are moving indoors here. From left to right, 3rd down and 1, right on the Viking logo at midfield on the artificial surface. With the quarterback, Case Keenum out of the University of Houston, under center, 3rd and 1. With the fullback in motion, he gets the snap, spins left, hands off to Murray, runs over the center. He was stoned as he got to the line of scrimmage on the hash mark. Belted, may have carved out a yard to the 45, and if he did, it'll be good for the forward progress as Gene Steratore signals a first down for Minnesota.
Well, the Saints knew what was going to happen there. They had all their defenders stacked into the middle of the pile there, trying to push him back. But as you said, Kevin, able to get to that first down marker and gives him a 1st and 10.
Case Keenum will break huddle. He's in the gun from the 45 of New Orleans. He's got 4 wide. He looks into the Saints nickel. 4 on the defensive line for New Orleans. Keenum, arms outstretched, shotgun snap, drops back 3, got the left tackle block, throws a short pass off in the flat to Murray, who caught the ball chest high at about the 45 and goes down to the 41-yard line, and a gain of 3 on the short pass to the far sideline right in front of the New Orleans bench.
Well, he's trying to get to Thielen, who's running a slant route on his left. Keenum comes back, looks that way, sees there's double coverage coming down on Thielen, so he just throws a swing out. He's able to pick up another nice gain there with the completion on his first throw of the day.
McKinnon is in as the back. Keenum is under center. 2nd down, 6, gets the snap, hands off to McKinnon over the left tackle. He goes, he crosses the 40, and he's outside the hash mark and down to the 39, 38-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. Trent Green on a gain of 3. We're scoreless, and the clock is ticking. 11:30 here in the first quarter.
Well, I continue to see the Minnesota Vikings changing personnel groups, trying to mix things up a little bit. They've had some effectiveness running the football and maybe trying to take some of that early jitters away from Case Keenum, take some of that pressure away from him, not pushing the ball up the field, at least as of yet.
He's got a 3rd down and 3. He's at the New Orleans 38, 5 in the secondary. Keenum in the gun, 4 wide. He looks over the defense. He'll get the shotgun snap, which is shoulder high. He then throws an arching spiral down the near side. Wide open, he's got his receiver. It's Wright with an over-the-shoulder catch at the 20. Down the near sideline to the 16 in New Orleans. What a catch, Jarius Wright. 22-yard throw. A beautiful arching spiral down the near side. 1st and 10, Minnesota.
Well, the Vikings had trips to the right. They had Rudolph on the outside. They had Diggs in the slot. And then Wright was the 3rd receiver in, or closest receiver to Case Keenum. And he just runs a wheel route. The 2 outside receivers run slant. He runs a wheel route. And the Saints aren't able to make that adjustment.
Shotgun snap on 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 16. And it goes to Murray, who runs over the right guard. He picks up 2 as he got the handoff at the 16. Takes it by the 15. And down to the New Orleans 14-yard line. Checking the Viking stats inside the red zone. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. The Beat Up Sauce Lab is proud to present their newest sauce, Thai Ginger. Only at Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, and sports. Available for a limited time. All supplies last. 57 times in the red zone. 33 touchdowns, 20 field goals in the regular season. McKinnon has come in. It is the 8th play of this Viking drive after the Saints punted the first time. 2nd down and 8 from the 14 in New Orleans. Keenum is under center. The spin, the pitch out McKinnon. Gets a block from the tight end on the numbers 15. He's on the 10 to the far side 5, running into the end zone. Touchdown! Jerick McKinnon, 14-yard run over the left side. Got the tight end block. And the Vikings strike first with 9:45 to play in the first quarter.
Well, excellent misdirection by the Vikings. Stephon Diggs, as you said, Kevin, he was lined up to the outside left. He comes in motion. Case Keenum times the snap perfectly. He goes with the football and fakes it to Stephon Diggs as it looks like he's going to hand off on a reverse or a sweep going to the right. Because of that, the defense flows that way with Diggs, and instead, Keenum turns around and he pitches the ball to the outside, able to get there's nobody left over there. Excellent one-on-one blocking to the outside.
Kai Forbath will try the extra point for the Vikings. To our right, it is up and in, 7-0 Minnesota. 14-yard touchdown run by McKinnon, who got the block from his left tackle, Riley Reif, and that made a huge difference, opening the door, and he took it down the far sideline for touchdown number 1 of this one with an 8-play, 55-yard drive. Let's check with our analyst now, Trent Green, and find out what he thinks each team needs to do today to help life go right. Brought to you by State Farm. There for you when things go wrong, but also here to help life go right. Talk to an agent today at 1-800-STATE-FARM. What do you think, Trent?
Well, let's start off with the Saints. I said early success by the offense. That didn't take place. They had a 3-and-out their first possession. I said you want to attempt with that early success to take the crowd out of it early. Also, the Saints are 9-1 when they have the lead at halftime, so they've got some catching up to do. The second thing for the Saints, they need the play of rookies Marshawn Lattimore and second-year corner Ken Crawley attempting to eliminate the combination of Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. So that's going to be a matchup that I watched throughout this entire day, is those young corners against Thielen and Diggs. And then for the Vikings, they need to get pressure on Drew Brees. He was only sacked 20 times this year, and he was the least pressured quarterback in the NFL. They were able to get some pressure on that third down, the first possession, so they'll have to keep that up. And then offensively, balance for the Vikings is going to be important. They need an effective running game so they can get that play-action pass going for Keenum.
So the Vikings got the 22-yard pass to right down the sideline. Laura Oakman, they get the 14-yard touchdown run by McKinnon, and they are off and running here at home.
This building may be one of the newer ones, but it has quickly earned a reputation for being one of the loudest. That is continuing early on so far. Saints guard Larry Warford told me they want to get this run game going. They want to take the pressure off Drew with this loud, rocking environment so he doesn't have to coordinate so much stuff. He said we want to get the run game rocking, not the crowd. That's been the big focus for us all week. That noise can slow you down as you struggle with communication. We've been practicing for it as much as you can, and they came in knowing what a big factor this noise was going to be.
Hey, Trent, what are some ways that you can have the non-noise communication? In other words, no cadence being heard. Would they look at you? Is there just would you clap, or what do you do?
You know, some teams use it differently. Some use a clap. Some use a foot stomp just to indicate to the lineman. A lot's going to be done when you're changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Your hand signals that you give to the wide receivers and to the linemen to communicate what you want to do from a protection standpoint. So, as Laura just said, that slows down the communication when everything is going to hand signals.
Next Sunday, don't miss all the NFL excitement on Fox. The NFC Championship game, either the Saints or the Vikings at Philadelphia. Check your local listings for more details. Catch the NFL playoffs on Fox, and you can also hear that game right here on Westwood One Radio. So a pretty impressive drive for Case Keenum. Think about where he's been a couple years in Houston with a handful of starts. Same with the Rams, and he comes to Minnesota probably as an afterthought. Bridgewater is hurt. Sam Bradford is hurt. And by the way, Bradford is active today. And here he goes. He finishes the season with 11 wins. And in his first playoff experience with this team, he gets a touchdown. Here's the ensuing kickoff by the Vikings. End over end. Kamara will take it 6 yards deep. He'll catch it against his chest and drop to an in a touchback, Trent, to the 25 for New Orleans.
Well, just to finish the thought on Case Keenum, or to continue the thought on Case Keenum, is I asked him that. I said, why would you choose to come to Minnesota knowing they have Bradford and knowing that they have Bridgewater? And he said, you know what? Number one, I didn't have a lot of options. But number two, he felt like he fit into this offense very well. He thought he fit in very well with the system that was here, the up-tempo system that Pat Shurmur wants to play. He said those are things that I did in college. I felt comfortable if I did get an opportunity that I'd be able to have some success.
There's a second possession now for the New Orleans Saints. Brees is under center, looking at a four-man front from his 25, 1st and 10. Single back Kamara, the snap, the spin, the handoff to Kamara. He goes over the left tackle. He's stoned at the line of scrimmage, the 25. Hit and no gain on the play. Hit by a couple on the play, including Joseph. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the New Orleans Saints, who come in as the winners of the NFC South.
Well, the Vikings, that's the thing. They're number one. Laura mentioned it. They're number one in total defense. They're number one in scoring defense. They're number two in rush defense. They only give up 84 yards a game on the ground. Last time they played in week 1, the Saints averaged less than 3 yards per carry. So even though they're trying to establish it, this game may end up in the hands of Drew Brees.
Brees under center from his 25, 2nd down 10. He's got a jet sweep of the handoff to Ginn, who runs to the 20, to the near side 25. Broke a tackle up the sideline 35. He's in front of the Viking bench and knocked out of bounds on the near sideline at the 37. It is a jet sweep and a run for Ted Ginn Jr. of 12, coming from the far to the near side. First down, New Orleans.
Well, in this Saints offense, Ted Ginn has been a big part of it, and throughout his career, he's had some inconsistencies in the receiving game. What he's always possessed is tremendous speed. A week ago, having an 80-yard touchdown catch in the playoff win a week ago, and this time trying to get him started early with that, as you said, the sweep around to the left for the first down.
Saints 37 under center. Brees drops back, short throw. Up the middle, caught by Ingram at the 40-yard line on the hash mark. A belt-high catch, trapped it against his chest. It only picks up 3 on the play. He gets up, Trent, to the New Orleans 40-yard line.
Well, we've talked already about the Minnesota defense and how they don't give up very many yards. They're number one in the NFL in yards, allowing yards after catch. They just don't give it up very much. It's less than 3 yards that teams are getting after a catch. That time, as soon as the ball hits the receiver, he's brought down.
The bare arm, Drew Brees under center. 2nd down and 7. 4-man front for the Vikings from the 40 of New Orleans. The snap, the spin, handoff to Ingram. There's a block by the fullback as they go over the right tackle, crossing the 40 outside the hash mark to the 44 on a gain of 4. With line blocking, it was Ingram, a 1,000-yard running back for the Saints this year. In fact, both running backs for the Saints are going to the Pro Bowl. The rookie Kamara and, of course, the 1,000-yard rusher in Ingram.
Well, it's pretty incredible when you look at the stats that these two have put together. It's just been tremendous when you consider both of them over 1,500 yards of total offense. Kamara more as a receiver than a rusher, and then Ingram, as you mentioned, 1,000-yard, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for Mark Ingram running the ball.
3rd down and 3, shotgun formation. There's the snap from the Saints 44. Moving up in the pocket is the quarterback, Brees. Throws down the middle. It's incomplete. Between the hash marks at the 40-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. They were going downfield. Waynes was covering the tight end Hill on a pass that traveled about 20 yards through the air. And for a second consecutive possession, the Saints will have to punt. Their drive will stall at their own 45. 7-0 Vikings. 7:18 to play here in the first. We're indoors, of course, so there is no win. And Morstead, who looked to be shaken up the last time on a tackle, will punt again for New Orleans. He sends it down the far sideline. It lands at the 5. It kicks into the end zone. It's a touchback. It'll go to the 20-yard line and a 56-yarder by Thomas Morstead of the New Orleans Saints. Our first quarter clock here in Minneapolis at 7:09. A 14-yard touchdown run by the Vikings on their first possession. 7-0 Minnesota. This is Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. Middle of the first quarter, Vikings get it for a second time. They lead on a 14-yard McKinnon touchdown run, 7-0. From the 20-yard line after the New Orleans punt. Under center is Keenum, spins, fakes the handoff, rolls to the far side on the numbers. Got a block, goes down the far sideline. Leaping attempted catch on the sideline, incomplete at the 33-yard line as they were going for Stephon Diggs with the coverage on the play in the secondary for New Orleans by Ken Crowley. 2nd down and 10.
Well, and Keenum talked about this offense, what he likes about it, the fact that he can move around. He likes the play-action pass. He likes the quick no-huddle when they get to the no-huddle. So it's an offense he feels very comfortable in, and the numbers indicate that he feels comfortable in it.
They bring in an extra tackle on offense for the Vikings. 2nd down and 10. Purple jerseys, white pants, moving from left to right. With a staggered split set, an offset eye. From the 20-yard line, Keenum under center with a 2nd down and 10. A 4-man front and a handoff to Murray over the left tackle at the 20. He's on the numbers, and he hurdled a defender, Hendrickson, and goes out to about the 23 and picks up 3 on the play. And now it'll be 3rd down and 7 for Minnesota.
Well, it was a formation and a personnel group you don't see a lot of in the NFL anymore. Teams and offenses are usually spread out all over the place, adding extra wide receivers or dual backs that can catch. That time the Vikings had double tight ends in the game. They had a fullback in the game. They just ran the old traditional power I and ran it off to the left and only able to pick up a couple yards.
23-yard line of Minnesota in the gun. Keenum has 4 wide, running back to his right. He looks into 5 in the secondary for the Saints. The shotgun snap, the drop back at 3, the block by the tackles, and a short pass on a crossing pattern. It is caught across the middle by Diggs. He broke a tackle, runs to the near side, 35, and he's up to about the 40-yard line of Minnesota. It is a catch and run of 17 by Stephon Diggs on 3rd and 7. With a tackle eventually made by Marcus Williams. First down, Minnesota, leading 7-0. Clock at 6 and ticking here in the first.
Well, and Diggs was on the far left for Case Keenum, and he's in man coverage with Ken Crawley, the corner, and Crawley gets caught up in the wash as there's double slants on both sides as Diggs works across the middle of the field. That's where Crawley gets lost. It's an easy completion.
Viking 40, shotgun snap to Keenum, winds up long pass down the near sideline. It's incomplete, and a penalty flag has been thrown at the 40-yard line of New Orleans. They were going deep with Crawley defending Treadwell right in front of the Vikings sideline here in front of us on the near side.
And it was an easy call. Crawley had both arms all over him.
Defense, number 20. Spot foul, automatic. First down.
Hey, fans, don't miss your chance to see NFL greats compete live and inspire the next generation of stars and fans at the 2018 Pro Bowl in Orlando. Purchase tickets now at NFL.com/Pro Bowl on sale. It's a 20-yard penalty. It's on the defense of New Orleans, which puts the Vikings in their second possession at the 40 of New Orleans. With an I formation, Keenum under center. 4-man front. The snap, the spin, the fake hand off the drop back of 7. He moves up, shuffles up, winds up. Long pass down the near side in the end zone. Flags were thrown. It is incomplete. They were going deep for Diggs. He was double-teamed, and the flags are all over the field, and they're going to be on the secondary of the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I think they're going to get Crawley once again. This time Crawley one-on-one with Stephon Diggs running a post on the backside, trying to get Thielen underneath.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. Spot foul, automatic. First down.
So 2 big ones on Crawley. And it puts the Minnesota Vikings at the 6-yard line of the Saints. A 34-yard penalty on the heels of a 20-yard penalty on the secondary of New Orleans.
Well, this is a secondary that's been very good. Both Crawley and Marshawn Lattimore have been outstanding this season, and very costly penalties setting up the Vikings once again, 1st and goal.
It is 1st and goal. Keenum is in the gun, looks into the nickel. 1st and goal from the New Orleans 6. He looks to the left, he looks to the right. The shotgun snap on 1st and goal. He sets in a line drive pass to the near side. Deep corner is incomplete, looking for Rudolph, and the coverage by Bell. In the secondary of New Orleans, incomplete line drive throw. 2nd down and goal for Minnesota.
Well, and Von Bell was draped all over Kyle Rudolph as he's running a corner route. Some hot hand contact going on there, and they end up not calling it, but it would have been a heck of a catch if he would have brought it in. It would have had to have been a one-hander and dragging the feet in the back right corner.
Vikings break huddle at the 6-yard line in New Orleans. They'll have a 4-man defensive front. 2nd down and goal at the 6. There is a single back, and that is Murray. Under center is Case Keenum with a couple tight ends. He looks over the defense from the 6. 2nd down and goal. The snap, the spin. Hand off to Murray over the left tackle. Got the block. He's between the hash marks and down to the 2 on a dive. He picks up 4. Put him at the 2 of the Saints. 3rd and goal coming up for the Vikings at the 2.
P.J. Williams was in for the Saints that time. He comes in. He's the one that dives at the legs and is able to get him down. It looked like he was going to have a pretty easy run into the end zone. Williams, though, coming low to cut his feet out from underneath him.
Latavius Murray, a one-time Oakland Raider with 1,000 yards under his belt, was over 800 yards rushing for the Vikings this year. 3rd down and goal at the 2. Keenum is in the gun. He's got 3 wide. He looks into the nickel. From the 2 in New Orleans, 3rd and goal. Keenum in the gun, shotgun snap, fakes the handoff, arching spiral far side, in the corner for Rudolph, incomplete with the coverage on the play by P.J. Williams. It's incomplete. It's 4th down. They're going to try for 3 instead of going in. So the Saints do their job and keep the Vikings out of the end zone.
Well, and you could tell that must have been the game plan when this play was put in. They anticipated the fact that Crawley and Lattimore were going to follow Thielen and Diggs to the right side of the field. So that left Rudolph one-on-one on the backside with Williams. Williams in coverage. They just tried throwing a jump ball to the much bigger receiver, not able to come up with the completion.
The punter Ryan Quigley is going to hold, and here is Kai Forbath, who will try a 20-yard field goal right between the hash marks. To our right. Good long snap, ball put down. Right-footed kick for the Vikings is up and good, and another 3 on the board. With the first quarter clock at 4:42, with a reminder that for every field goal made throughout the playoffs, Barbasol will make a donation to the Boomer Esiason Foundation dedicated to beating cystic fibrosis. Barbasol, the brand America trusts for a close shave, now has razors. Premium disposable razors with an advanced pivoting head and ultra-thin blades. You're looking good, America. We're late in the first quarter from downtown Minneapolis and indoors on a 13-degree, snowy, foggy day in the Twin Cities. 10-0 Vikings on top of the Saints. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. Tillman Fertitta, owner of Morton's The Steakhouse, is back as the billion-dollar buyer on CNBC Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Watch each week as he spends time with two businesses and evaluates whether their product will fit into his restaurants. To find out more, visit cnbc.com/billion-dollar-buyer. Not only, Trent Green, are the Vikings scoring when they have it. They've had it twice. They've scored twice. But they're eating up a lot of yards and the time. And we're here now late in the first quarter, and the Vikings already lead New Orleans 10-0.
And Kevin, you and I were talking at commercial. This is a series. This is an important series for the New Orleans Saints when they get the ball back. They're going to have to go down, not only use up some clock and use up some time to give your defense a rest, but you've got to go down and get some points because this game is close to getting away from you based on the fact that Minnesota's had two long drives, as you just mentioned. They need to get Drew Brees in the passing game going. Drew Brees right now just 1 of 4.
Kickoff by the Vikings from left to right. It'll be taken 1 yard deep by Kamara, brings it out of the end zone on the hash mark, the 10. Angles to the numbers, the 20, belted right there. Taken down on the play by Jaron Kearse. It's a 20-yard return. By the way, on that drive for the Vikings moments ago, 2 pass interference penalties, Trent, on the Saints, totaling 54 yards. That was huge.
That was huge, and both of them on Crawley, and I know he's in tight coverage. That's what the Saints are going to have to do today. They're going to have to get guys up there to try and stop the running game and try and add that extra defender to the box. But when you're in man-to-man, it looks like they're trying to stay away from Latimer's side. They're coming after Crawley's side.
Everybody on their feet, waving white towels above their head indoors in the Twin Cities. Third possession from the 20-yard line. Shotgun snap to Brees. Short throw inside the numbers, drop. They were going for Ginn at the 27-yard line. There was every coverage by Wayans on the play. It's incomplete. Laura Oakman, 2nd and 10 coming up for New Orleans.
Kevin, right now, one of the most important people I'm watching on the sideline is the Saints punter, who will be so important. Thomas Morton, we talked earlier, he has been struggling since he came out of the game in so much pain. I watched him tell someone on the sideline he has a broken rib. He is continuing to wince, to hold his rib, and to want to get back out here, but struggling this entire time.
Laura, thank you. 2nd down, 10 under center is Brees. Hands off to Ingram, runs over the guard on the hash mark, the 20, the 25, and he's out to the 28-yard line in a burst of 9. That's exactly what New Orleans needed right there. A good run by the 1,000-yard running back, Mark Ingram, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Saints. We're late in the first, 10-0 Minnesota.
Well, you can hear the crowds just trying to get into it. You mentioned it's 3rd and 1, so they're trying to get cranked up in here to make it difficult for the Saints to communicate, but that time doing a little misdirection, getting Ted Ginn, giving the appearance of running a sweep with him, hitting Ingram on a trap right up the middle.
Brees under center from his 28. He gets the snap and hands off to Ingram, who tries to go over the right tackle, and he's belted and taken down. There is no gain on the play. At the 28-yard line in New Orleans, he was hit. He could not carve out any yards. It's 4th down. Here comes the punter with a hit by Eric Kendricks on the play. So broken rib and all, as Laura Oakman just told us. He comes out and he appears to be in pain as he walks out and kind of hunched over a little bit. Morstead will punt. Sherrills is back for the Vikings to our left inside their 25. There's the low snap, and a right-footed punt is high and not very long, and Sherrills waving his right arm, running under the ball and catching it on a knee on the painted numbers on the field at the 35-yard line on the far side. Morstead is grimacing as he walks off the field. 37-yard New Orleans punt, and our first quarter clock is at 3:15. The Vikings lead on a 14-yard touchdown run, 10-0 over the Saints. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. NFL players are strongest under pressure, so is Castrol Edge, the official motor oil sponsor of the NFL. Vote for the Castrol Edge Clutch Performer of the Year at NFL.com/Castrol Edge today. Saints have had it 3 times, 3 consecutive punts. Vikings getting it for a 3rd time. They have scored the first 2 times they've had the ball. A 14-yard touchdown run by McKinnon. A 20-yard field goal moments ago. 3:15 first quarter. 10-0 Minnesota. They get it here. Continuing to move in their purple jerseys and white pants from left to right. Case Keenum is under center. Eye black smeared under each eye. Looks over the 4-man front. 4 in the secondary. 1st and 10. Fake handoff once. Fake handoff twice. Screen pass McKinnon. He gets a block from Berger, but it produces nothing. He gets about a yard on the play to the 35-yard line. Hit and read well by Marshawn Lattimore, who'll probably be the defensive rookie of the year. He comes into the secondary for the Saints and makes the stop.
Well, you said it, Kevin. They're trying to cause misdirection and cause some confusion with the Saints defensively. They fake the handoff to the right. They fake the reverse going back around to the left and then throw the screen back to the right. The Saints that time staying at home and making the tackle for a short gain.
2nd down and 9. Vikings will have the ball at their own 35. In the shotgun formation is Keenum. 5 in the secondary. Shotgun snap. Draw play handoff out of the gun. Goes to McKinnon over the center at the 35. On the hash mark, he runs to the 40. Brought down by Hamilton, newly signed this week. And he goes down after a gain of 6 on 2nd and 9. And Trent Green, that brings up 3rd and 3 for the Vikings. First quarter clock is ticking at 2:21.
Well, and that's so important for the Vikings to get that gain on 2nd down. It was just your traditional draw play to the right, over the right guard, and getting that down and getting that distance to leave this 3rd and short.
3rd down and 3. Vikings at their 41. 3-man front. 5 in the secondary for the Saints. Shotgun snap. Keenum gets it. Short throw near side. It's caught over the shoulder at the 41. Big hit by Crowley. I don't know if he got the first down on the play. He was hit and reeled out of bounds. He got as far as the 43. Short by a yard. Give him a gain of 2. It's 4th and 1. And for the first time today, the Vikings are going to punt with their clock ticking at 1:45 in the first quarter.
Well, the Saints that time were in a cover 4, so you have 2 safeties in the middle of the field, gives it the appearance of a cover 2. Your corners end up getting soft. That time, though, Crawley looked back into the backfield, saw Keenum make a decisive decision, a quick decision, but Crawley was able to make that adjustment, come up and make the tackle short of the sticks.
Vikings are going to punt from left to right. Ryan Quigley is back to punt. Tommy Lee Lewis is back for the Saints inside the 15. Right-footed punt by the Vikings, sent from left to right. It is Lewis waving his arm, and he crouches with a catch on the hash mark at the 15 of New Orleans. 42-yard punt. Hang time of a little less than 5 seconds on the play. So here comes Breeze. Here comes, there's a flag thrown. A flag thrown back at the 31-yard line at the other end of the field, right about where that ball was snapped, and the punt was lofted. The Saints come in with a win over Carolina last week, 31-26. They're trying to make the conference championship for the first time since 2009. The Vikings come in with the 2nd best record in franchise history, 13-3, 7-1 at home. The division.
There's no flag on the play. There's no flag on the play. Timeout.
That's Gene Steratore, who is our referee today inside in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Navy Federal Credit Union is proud to serve the military. If you're a member of the military, the armed forces, or a veteran, the Department of Defense, or if your family is, Navy Federal Credit Union would be proud to serve you too. Federally insured by NCUA. So the Saints, Trent Green, are having a hard time getting traction offensively to start this game.
Well, it's hard getting any traction when you can't convert 3rd downs. Right now they're 0 for 3 on 3rd downs, and those are 3rd and manageable. One was a 3rd and 1, then you have a 3rd and 3 and a 3rd and 5. So those down and distances you have to be able to convert, especially when you're struggling to get first downs and struggling to try and stay in this game as your defense just finally came up with their first stop.
Breeze in the gun, 1st and 10 from his 15. Empty backfield, 5 wide, shotgun snap, drops back 3, winds up, looks long, spiral pass down the middle, he's got a receiver, and it was intercepted on a leap by Sendejo. A leaping, two-handed, gloved interception at the Viking 42, landing on the hash mark. Big-time pick by Sendejo, the great, strong safety of the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, and when you're looking at it from Drew Brees' perspective, Ted Ginn was on his right. He's running a deep or a skinny post down the middle of the field. Sendejo, Drew Brees looks with his eyes to the left to try and pull Sendejo over to the left. It's just Sendejo doesn't fall for it. He just keeps drifting back to the middle of the field. Brees tries going over the top. Sendejo, with great recovery, able to make a leaping catch right around midfield.
There is an injury for the Vikings back where Brees launched that pass. It's Shamar Stephan. And they're looking at his right leg as he is rolled over on his back. That was a big interception by Sendeo, as pretty as you'll see, with the leaping, falling backwards, two-handed grab above his helmet. There is an injury on the field with 1:06 to play in the first quarter. The Vikings are leading the Saints 10-0. Let's step aside as you're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. After the Viking interception, it's 1st and 10 with a handoff, and Case Keenum gives off to Latavius Murray. Runs over the left tackle. He was at the 42. He tried to run to the numbers. He picks up a yard to the Viking 43. Sendeo with the pick. Freeney makes the tackle there. Sendeo with that pick for the Vikings. A good one it was. And he turns it over. And now it'll be 2nd down and a long 8. Vikings continue to move from left to right. We've got 40 seconds, clock ticking here in the first, and it's a 10-0 lead for Minnesota. Keenum will be in the gun, brings his right hand to his mouth. He looks at a 3-man defensive front. He looks at 4 in the secondary for the Saints. Right foot ahead of his left, shotgun snap on 2nd and 8 from his own 44. Short pass up the middle. It's a two-handed catch right in front of his helmet. Thielen, 45, spins, goes down to the 40-yard line of the Saints. Brought down by Bell. A good catch by the Pro Bowl wide receiver. 16-yard completion for the Vikings to the New Orleans 41.
Keenum has had a tremendous season when throwing between the numbers, and a lot of those throws, not only Kyle Rudolph, the tight end, but Adam Thielen finding the windows in the zone where to make those completions, and an accurate throw on Keenum's part.
All right, the first quarter has come to a close here in downtown Minneapolis. 10-0 Vikings, a 14-yard touchdown run by the running back, Jerick McKinnon. Let's go to the second quarter as you're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. Welcome back to Minneapolis, along with Trent Green and Laura Oakman. Kevin Harlan, our score after 15 minutes of play. Vikings 10, Saints nothing. With the start of the second quarter, it's brought to you by Geico. Great news, there's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. McKinnon, a 14-yard touchdown run on the first offensive possession for Minnesota. Sendeo just picked off Breeze on a leaping pick way downfield. Vikings get it to begin the second quarter. They'll have it 1st and 10. Breeze has started 1 of 6 for 3 yards and a pick. Keenum has started for the Vikings 6 of 9 for 61 yards. And Trent Green, he's had 5 different Viking receivers so far.
Well, and that's been the impressive thing, is he's not dialed in on just one guy. You spread them out. You cause problems for the defense because they're not sure where you're going to go with the football. The only one with more than one catch is McKinnon coming out of the backfield.
Saints 41, Keenum under center, fakes the handoff, drops back deep, winds up, shuffles up, goes a sidearm pass, far side. It's a leaping two-hand catch on the numbers made by Thielen at the 31 of the New Orleans Saints. He was quickly hit and brought down right there, close to a 10-yard gain. Let's see where they spot the ball. They will move the chains, a gain of 10 through the air. Thielen gets that one from Case Keenum, and a first down for Minnesota.
The Vikings that time were completely settling out to make it look like a run. They had only 2 receivers in the game. Diggs and Thielen were running crossing routes, going for a scissors route to go to opposite corners of the end zone. So a hard play fake, everybody blocking like it's a run. That time Thielen recognizing there's pressure, so he comes back to the ball and is able to get that completion.
They move the chains back, and they say it's a 2nd and 1. They did not get him the first, so they're at the 32, and it's a handoff to Latavius Murray, who runs over the right guard. He goes down to the 30-yard line. He's between the hash marks right there for a gain of 2, and he carves out the first down with a hit by Teo, linebacker for New Orleans. Another first down for the Vikings, who Trent have controlled this entire first half on both sides of the ball.
Time of possession has to be completely weighted in the Vikings' favor when you consider the number of plays that the Saints have had and how the Vikings have been able to control the ball. Only the 1 punt on the game so far.
Vikings are moving in the second quarter on the artificial surface toward the window side of the stadium from right to left. Keenum is under center. He's got a 1st and 10 from the New Orleans 30. Looks at a 4-man front. The snap, the spin. It's a handoff to Murray. Runs over the center at the 30. He's on the hash mark and backpedaling his way to the 29, and then he was belted and taken down. Teo and company there. Von Bell with a hit from the secondary and a meager gain of a yard to the 29 of New Orleans.
Great rally by the defense of the Saints. It looked like he was going to get much bigger gain than what he did because as he cuts back, it's a run off, or it's a run to the right side, and he works his way, Murray does, behind the line of scrimmage and shoots out the backside. So normally a defense, you're going to flow to where the attack is going to be, but as Murray comes out that backside, there's 3 defenders there, not as big a gain as what they thought it was going to be.
It's 2nd down and 9 from the 29-yard line of New Orleans in the shotgun formation, flanked by a fullback and a running back. Keenum will look over a 4-man front. He gets the snap, and there's a line drive to the far side out of the reach of Diggs at the 25-yard line, far sideline, in front of that New Orleans bench. So that goes incomplete. Now it'll be 3rd and 9. Vikings on top 10-0, just starting the second quarter here in Minneapolis. The run to the Super Bowl is on, and NFL Network offers the most comprehensive playoff coverage anywhere, all the way to Super Bowl 52 here in Minneapolis. NFL Network, your home for the NFL playoffs. Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Laura Oakman. 3rd down 9. Keenum will be in the gun. Takes a look at a 3-man front, 5 in the Saints secondary. From the 29 in New Orleans, flanked by a running back, it is 3rd and 9. Shotgun snap, drops back 5, shuffles up, line drive pass near sideline, leaping two-handed, falling down, catch by Thielen at the 17. Beats Lattimore on the near side. What a grab! Left high with his gold gloves above his purple helmet. Grabbed the ball on the near sideline. Gets a first down. Trent a catch of 13. A first down for Minnesota.
I can't fault the coverage of Lattimore at all. He's in man-to-man coverage on the backside, or Case Keenum's left. The other receivers are all flooded to the right side of the field. It's just one-on-one. He looks like he's going on a go route down the sidelines. He stops. It's not your typical back shoulder fade throw. It was a detailed route to stop at that certain depth, and as you said, he climbed the ladder to make a tremendous catch.
New Orleans 17, 1st and 10. Handoff to Murray, comes running laterally on the 20, tries to get to the near sideline and stiff arms his way down to about the 13, 14-yard line of the Saints, and he picks up 4 on first down. Hit on the play by Teo. 12 to play, clock ticking, second quarter, 10-0 Minnesota, and threatening again now at the 13 of the New Orleans Saints.
Well, the Saints, even though this defense has been on the field a long time, they've got to dig deep here and find a way to keep the Vikings out of the end zone and hold them to just a field goal attempt.
13-yard line in New Orleans. Under center, Keenum. 2nd down 6. Hand off to Murray over the left tackle. Got a block at the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Running through the defense. Slicing his way in. The long strides take him 13 yards into the end zone. A flag has been thrown. Let's see if it stands.
Offense number 74.
Wipe it away.
10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
Mike Remmers, who has gone from the starting right tackle to the starting left guard today for Cyril's on the left side of the line, holding, wipe away the touchdown.
As you said, Kevin, this was just a walk-in. Nobody even touched him, but Remmers gets called with a hold. He is hooking. See, as he tries to get in position, Davison is who he was holding. Got him up, wrapped around the neck. Get that arm hooked underneath the other armpit area. Just easy call for the officials to make.
That's the first penalty on the Minnesota Vikings today. With that penalty, it's back to the 23 of New Orleans. Moving right to left. The quarterback by himself with a white number 7 on that purple jersey. 2nd down 16 for Keenum in the gun. Looks at a 3-man front and 5 in the Saints secondary. He's got receivers deployed on both sides. 2 on one side, 3 on the other. Arms outstretched, shotgun snap, drops back 3, short pass near side. It's a shoestring catch on the sideline by Rudolph on the near sideline at the 15 as he backpedaled out of bounds. Hit by Crawley and picks up 8 on 2nd and 16. So Trent make it 3rd down and 8 with the ball at the 15-yard line of New Orleans with the Saints, again, their backs against the wall and trailing 10-0.
Well, Keenum's mad at himself that time because he makes that a more accurate throw. That gives Rudolph more of a chance to get up the sidelines and make this more a 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. Instead, he has to reach back behind him, barely catch the ball off the top of the turf, able to bring it in, but not have a big a gain as he should have.
From the 15-yard line in New Orleans, 3rd down and 8, Keenum in the gun. 3 receivers right, 2 left, looks into the 5-man secondary, shotgun snap. He cocks his right arm, he looks, he backpedals, he's got time. He pump fakes once, he backpedals again, he moves up and avoids the rush. He runs to the numbers, he looks the other way, throws a pass to the 5, leaping to end, catch made at the 5-yard line by Diggs. Heavily covered. How in the world do they give him that much time to throw? He's got the ball down to the 5. Gain of 11, 1st and goal to go, Minnesota.
Well, the Saints that time decided to only rush 3. Because of that, Keenum probably has about 7 seconds to stand back there and look across the field. There's nowhere to throw because of those 8 defenders dropped into zone coverage, and as he's buying time with his feet, Diggs is just working across that goal line, and the defenders get lost. They get lost trying to find where Keenum was. They had their back turned to him, and he floats it in the middle of the field. Diggs is able to climb up and make the catch, secure the first down.
Vikings first and goal at the 4 of the New Orleans Saints. There's a line drive throw to the far side of the end zone and a leaping bobble. Floyd caught it, but bobbled it as he was coming down. They rule incomplete in the end zone. They threw to the far side, and he was truly bobbling the ball. The coverage by P.J. Williams. Good call by the officials. Incomplete pass in the end zone for Michael Floyd.
Well, there's
it's moving.
Yeah, it was moving as the ball comes down. You can tell there's a distinct game plan here. If they get P.J. Williams one-on-one, that's where they're going. Last time down, they had Kyle Rudolph one-on-one, isolated everybody else. So they saw something that they've wanted to attack coming into this game. So far, Williams is held up.
Vikings have it second down and goal at the 4 of New Orleans. And a timeout on the field with the second quarter clock at 10:08. It looks like the Vikings have taken it. They have. So now they will bring Case Keenum to the near sideline. Bobbled the ball was in the end zone on the far side in the back corner by Michael Floyd. Considered the league's most prestigious honor. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award recognizes NFL players who have made a significant impact both on the game and in their communities. This year's winner will be announced at NFL Honors the night before Super Bowl 52. To learn more about this year's 32 nominees, visit NFL.com/Man of the Year. So a Sendejo interception for the Vikings has set up this drive. And on this drive, Trent Green, Thielen has caught passes of 16, 10, and 13. Diggs caught one in a miraculously drawn up play in the sand. 11-yard reception, and so they've completed some third down passes, and they've worked their way to a goal-to-go situation.
Yeah, and that last completion to Diggs was your typical sandlot ball, your backyard ball where you're just running around and trying to get somebody open. It was a heck of a conversion for the Vikings.
It's second down and goal from the 4-yard line in New Orleans. Under center is Keenum, fakes the handoff, drops back to throw, looks right, no, looks left. There's a line flag in the end zone, knocked away, incomplete. There's a flag. They were going for Diggs, who was running along the goal line, and P.J. Williams was right there. Rather, Marcus Williams was right there. And defending on the play, the flags were thrown right where the two collided on the goal line on the near side of the field.
They're going to get Marcus Williams hooking with that right arm on Diggs, twisting his body before the ball got there.
Saints have been playing from behind all day long. It's territory on the field.
Both by the defense prior to the pass. Holding defense number 26. That penalty is declined. Also pass interference. Defense number 43. That foul occurs in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First and goal, Minnesota.
And for the New Orleans Saints, that is the third pass interception penalty of this first half, totaling 57 yards.
Well, they're having a problem right now being able to keep up with the receivers of the Vikings, and those are costly penalties when you give them down in the end zone and you give them first and goal.
First and goal, New Orleans now with their backs against the wall. Vikings at the 1, first and goal. Two tight ends, I formation, Keenum under center. The snap, the spin, handoff Murray. He spins off one defender, over the right guard, holds the ball over the goal line. Touchdown, Minnesota. 1-yard touchdown, spinning move, over the right side, Latavius Murray. And the Vikings build their lead 16-0 over New Orleans. Early in the second quarter, the Vikings are running away.
Tremendous effort by Latavius Murray getting this ball across the goal line. And going back to the start of the season, Dalvin Cook was the guy. He gets injured. Latavius Murray coming off of an off-season ankle surgery of his own, got back a little bit late. McKinnon, the combination of Murray and McKinnon has definitely picked up the slack with Dalvin Cook, but you have to remember Cook will be back next season. That's a heck of a backfield when you think about what the Vikings have.
It is indeed. Here comes Forbath to try to tack on one more for the Vikings. 9:58 to play in the second quarter. The extra point is up and good. It's 17-0 Minnesota. 1-yard touchdown run, a spin, and a lunge by Murray. And the Vikings are on top. Sendejo sets up that possession with an interception for Minnesota. 17-0 Vikings, second quarter. This is Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. 5 minutes gone, second quarter. Vikings on top, 17-0. Let's check the drive summary brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all the car care needs you may have. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. 12-play, 58-yard drive by the Vikings after Sendejo picked off a breeze pass down the middle with a leaping, falling down grab. 12 plays and 58 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, Trent Green, for the Vikings to lead it 17-zip over New Orleans.
Well, that's the problem right there. The Vikings had a drive that had 12 plays in it. The Saints this entire game have 12 plays, so they've got to get something going. It goes without saying offensively. They've fallen behind the way that they have. They need to get some points on the board. Only 12 plays, 5 minutes time of possession for the Saints.
Vikings kick off to our left, and it's over the head of Kamara in the back of the end zone, and a touchback to the 25-yard line. And that's where Drew Brees. Laura Oakman begins at 1st and 10 from his 25.
And he does it without one key player for the Vikings defense. Defensive tackle Shamar Stephen was taken off the field. His teammates had to carry him, was not able to put any pressure down in that right leg, as we talked about him leaving earlier. His return is questionable with the right knee.
Laura, thank you. Great to have you on the sideline today. And, of course, being indoors on a 10-degree, foggy, snowy day in Minneapolis is terrific. Brees in the gun from his 25. Shotgun snap. Fakes the handoff. Now throws a line drive pass to the numbers. Diving catch is made. Thomas sliding at the 37 right in front of Sendejo on the far side of the field. They'll put the ball at the 36. He picks up 12. That is a first down for New Orleans, and Brees through the air.
Well, and that's who they have to get involved. Michael Thomas, his first reception of the game, had 104 receptions on the season, over 1,200 yards. His first 2 seasons have been outstanding. 196 receptions are the most in NFL history over a player's first 2 seasons.
Brees is under center. They're moving left to right in their white jerseys and black pants. He gets the snap and hands off to Kamara. He runs over the right guard. He finds a hole. 35 on the hash mark, the 40 by the 45 on the hash mark, and he's up to about the 47-yard line and a gain of 10. Good run by Alvin Kamara. It is a first down for New Orleans. The hit made in the secondary by Harrison Smith.
Well, Harrison Smith has had an outstanding season, but just getting the defense flowing to the right the way the Saints did that time, and then Kamara cutting it back to the left, finding a lane, and getting the first down to near midfield.
Fans on their feet, waving white towels. Second quarter clock is at 8:50 and ticking. 17-0 Vikings on top. From the 46-yard line of New Orleans with a couple tight ends. Brees under center, single back, gets the snap, hands off and over the right tackle. The handoff goes to Ingram, runs past the 45 on the numbers. He's out to the 48-yard line, hit by Joseph, and picks up 2 on the play for the Saints.
Well, they're not giving up on the run, even though they've fallen behind the way they have. They're sticking with this run. They know there's a lot of game time left, so they're trying to maintain that balance.
Second down 8. Brees has got a white towel draped over his front belt buckle on those black pants of the Saints. Second down 8 under center. Fakes the handoff, drops back. Does a short pass. It's caught by Hill, the tight end, the 50. Has an entourage and blockers, the 40. Breaks a tackle, 35. Down the near sideline, the 30. And the tight end, Josh Hill, takes the ball on a 22-yard catch and run all the way down to, let's see, where have they marked the ball? The 30-yard line, they say. The 30-yard line of Minnesota. Biggest play of the afternoon for New Orleans, 1st and 10.
Well, great play design. It's a play fake to the left. Drew Brees takes his eyes to the left, and then it's Clemente and Unger, the center and guard, end up running out in space. It's just a screen to the tight end. That's what allows them to get in open space and no defenders around, and why they got such a big game.
Brees under center from the 30 of Minnesota with an I formation. Receiver in motion. Here's a handoff, and it goes to Ingram over the left guard at the 30-yard line between the hash marks down to the 29. And belted on the play, hit by Barr, the Pro Bowl linebacker, and he picks up a yard on the play for New Orleans. With Trent Green, Kevin Harlan here in the Grainger broadcast booth in Minneapolis. The products and services you need when you need them. Grainger's got your back to help keep your facility running. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. Second down 9, 17-0 Vikings on top. 7 minutes to play. Clock ticking, second quarter. Second 9 for Brees. He gets the snap. A flag is thrown. It's on the defense. He winds up, long pass play. Caught by Ginn over the shoulder. The 10, the 5. Touchdown, far sideline. Ginn looking into the lights and hauling in the pass. A 29-yarder, flag thrown. We assume it's on the defense. They let the play continue. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be on New Orleans.
Offense number 19 was not set for a full second. 5-yard penalty. Replay second
because
down.
Normally that means it's on the defense. They get the free down.
Yeah, that's a killer right there. And it was Ted Ginn who caught the touchdown pass that gets called for an illegal shift. He wasn't set completely. He was still moving. you have to be set for a full second before the ball is snapped. And Ted Ginn was looking back at Drew Brees and then looked over at the official to see if he was on the line of scrimmage or off the line of scrimmage. While that was going on, the ball was snapped, so he wasn't completely set for that full second. Depends, or it remains to be seen now if that's going to be costly for the Saints, as they just scored a touchdown. If they can continue this drive and get into the end zone,
they'll be at the 34-yard line of the Vikings. It'll be 2nd down and 14. Sean Payton with those black outfit on of the New Orleans Saints. The windbreaker on the side. Here's Brees, 2nd and 14. Shotgun snap, sidearm throw, and here's sideline caught by Kamara at the 30, down the sideline, the 25. Got a block. He's at the 20 of Minnesota and out of bounds at the 15-yard line of the Vikings. Running down the sideline with a good belt-high catch, the running back, the rookie Kamara, takes it for 19. Down to the 15 of the Vikings, 1st and 10. It's New Orleans on the move, being shut out so far, 17-0 second quarter.
Well, and what makes that, Kamara's done an outstanding job all year catching the ball out of the backfield. We already mentioned the fact he had 81 receptions on the year. That time, he's being covered by a corner, being covered by Terrence Newman, who comes in as the nickel corner, and Kamara just runs out of the route, runs away from Newman. It's an outstanding catch and placement of the football and gets the first down.
Brees under center, 1st and 10. It's a handoff to Ingram. He hurdles the defender as he runs along the 15, runs laterally to the near sideline, and then Gideon knocks him out of bounds along with Kendricks. So the 1,000-yard rusher, Ingram, only picks up a yard. Running to the near sideline, Trent, he only picks up 1 to the 14 of Minnesota.
Well, and it's just the toughness of this defense. Their pursuit, their aggressiveness, it's a Zimmer type of defense. Their corners aren't afraid of getting in there and mixing it up, whether you're talking about Trey Waynes on one side or Xavier Rhodes on the other. That time Waynes comes in, he has to take on the guard one-on-one, and that makes that play bounce and allows Kendricks to get to the sideline and knock him out of bounds.
Viking 14, 2nd down, 9. Brees under center, cocks his arm, throws a pass, deflected, and interception by Barr. He's on the ball at the 15, the 20. He's out to the 25. He's near the 30, running to the far side. The linebacker brought down to the 29-yard line of Minnesota. A deflected ball went end over end. The flag has been thrown. Barr got the ball on the ricochet, runs for 20 to the far sideline on the 2nd interception of Brees in the first half by the Viking defense.
I'll tell you what, that's impressive. Everson Griffin has put together an outstanding season, 13 sacks on the year. They had the most of his career. He tries a spin move on Armstead. He can't get to the quarterback. His back is to Brees, and he throws his hand up and just luckily hits the ball for the Vikings because he's just trying to guess, right? Because his back's to Brees. He throws that arm up. The ball gets tipped, gets the interception, and they're able to get the ball going the other direction. The late flag, I believe, won't affect the interception.
Personal foul, horse collar tackle, original offense, number 72. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. 1st down, Minnesota. Timeout.
The Vikings are steamrolling the Saints. They're doing it defensively with 2 interceptions. They're doing it on the ground. 17-0 Minnesota, 5.5 to play in the first half. Let's step aside. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. Let's head down to the sideline and check in with our sideline reporter, Laura Oakman, brought to you by Farmers Insurance. As conditions on the field change, so can your car insurance needs. Talk with a Farmers agent today so you can assess whether your policy is game ready, home or auto. Find an agent at farmers.com. Laura?
Kevin, you guys have been talking about the elusiveness of Case Keenum. I talked to Saints linebacker Craig Robertson, who said he has a duck move that he does. He ducks under defenders. It's one of the best quarterback moves he said I've ever seen. You look at Romo, he was a spinner. Some guys are escapers, but Case is a ducker, which catches you off guard because you don't think about a quarterback ducking while you're running at him full speed. He said it throws you off because you don't want to hit him low and miss, so you go high, but he's going to duck and you miss. So one more thing the Saints defense is trying to keep track of with him.
That's interesting, Trent.
A ducker. I like that, Laura. I like that.
What were you?
I don't know. I think I tried doing a little bit of all of it. Spin move every now and then. Tried to escape. I like staying in the friendly confines of that pocket.
Oh, yeah.
That was my most comfortable spot.
So after the interception by the linebacker on a deflected pass by Brees, It's at the 43-yard line of Minnesota. Keenum is under center with a single back in a 1st and 10. A 4-man front for the New Orleans Saints from his own 43. Handoff to McKinnon. Directed left. Breaks a tackle. Runs on the numbers. He's out to the 45 on a gain of 2. Brought down by the linebacker Robertson. 2nd and 8 coming up for the Vikings. We're approaching 5 to play in the second quarter. They lead it 17-0.
And Kevin, before we forget about it, let's not forget that last series, the Saints had a touchdown pass to Ted Ginn, but he was called for not being completely set, so that gets called back, ultimately ends up in a tip ball and an interception, so costly mistake.
2nd down and 8. Here comes Keenum looking downfield, wanted to throw, and Teo brings him down. He had to kind of circle around. He was waiting for someone to get open. Good coverage in the secondary. It is a sack because he didn't gain anything on the play, so now it'll be 3rd down for the Vikings at their own 45.
Maybe able to hear the crowd's reaction in the background, and that time there, Case Keenum wasn't trying to duck, he was trying to slide as Teo was hitting him, and some of the fans thought maybe it was a hit on a quarterback or defenseless quarterback as he's attempting to slide, but I thought it was fine, it was legal because the contact happened as he was sliding.
Keenum 3rd down and 8 in the gun from his own 45. Receivers deployed, looks into the nickel. Line drive pass up the middle. Chest-high catch at the 50-yard line. It's made by Wright, brought down by Bell. He then takes it to about the 48-yard line, and he's close to a 1st down. Let's see what they do, and they are bringing out the punter. Now he runs back to the sideline, and they're going to keep the offense out there. It'll be 4th and 1. It'll be 4th and 1 for the Vikings. So they're going to go for it. They've got all the momentum in the game with 2 interceptions off Breeze and 2 rushing touchdowns. They have cashed in both times. They've picked off the New Orleans quarterback. They line up now in the I formation on the big logo painted at midfield. They're at the 47 in New Orleans, 4th and 1. Keenum will move his tight end Rudolph. With an I formation, Keenum is under center. Now walks away, and they'll take a timeout. As they'll think a bit more about how they're going to take the delay of game. As opposed, they're going to back him up a little bit, and so they'll move the ball back 5. It'll go to the Minnesota 48-yard line, and the punting unit does take the field with a reminder that 3 weeks from today, it's Super Bowl 52 from right here in Minneapolis, St. Paul. You can catch all the action and excitement of Super Sunday on NBC. Check your local listings for more details. Of course, you can hear the Super Bowl for over 30 straight years right here on Westwood One. The punter will be Ryan Quigley, and deep back will be Tommy Lee Lewis for New Orleans to our left back at the 10. There's a belt-high long snap and a right-footed boot by the Minnesota punter. Tommy Lee Lewis is under it with a fair catch on the numbers at about the 9 on the far side of the field. As he hauls it in across the way, Breeze will come out. He's thrown 2 picks. They've been shut out so far. 3:08 to play here in the second quarter. Vikings 17, New Orleans nothing. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. For DIY tips, hot rides, cool merch, and exclusive content, join free at TeamValvoline.com. Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Laura Oakman were indoors in Minneapolis, and 3:08 to play in the first half. Vikings with 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 interceptions of Breeze, 17-0 Minnesota. They have just punted to Breeze in the offense, who will take over. Trent at the 9, 1st and 10, down 17-0.
Well, and you mentioned the fact that they're starting on the 9. If you look at the average drive start for both teams, New Orleans is averaging their own 20-yard line, Minnesota their own 37-yard line. So trying to change the field here. If anything, you need to go down and get some points.
Breeze in the gun, 1st and 10, fakes the pitch, throws outside, caught by Ginn, got a block inside the numbers, the 10. The belt high catch takes him out to the 15-yard line. Hit by Harrison Smith and picks up 6 on 1st down for New Orleans.
Well, and the Saints right now have all 3 timeouts left. There's only 2:50 left in this first half. Trying to get some separation from their own goal line, but also you'd ultimately like to go down and get some points before the half.
It's 2nd down and 4. Breeze in the gun, moving left to right. Gets the snap, hands off to his back. That's Kamara over the right tackle at the 15. Runs to the numbers, the 20. Down at the 21, hit by Barr. Picks up 5, has the 1st down for the Saints. They'll spot the ball at the 20 in New Orleans. The clock is ticking, not being stopped at 2:20. Now 2:22 and it's 17-0 Minnesota.
Well, it's a little surprising. It's almost like the Saints are willing to let this go down to the 2-minute warning. There was no up-tempo. They do break the huddle here with 10 seconds before the 2-minute warning, trying to get a ball snapped.
Breeze brings his hands to his mouth. From his 20-yard line, 1st and 10, drops back, long spiral, far side, bobbled off the chest, ricochet, incomplete. Coverage on the play by Mackenzie Alexander. There is no penalty flag. Sean Payton was out there complaining there should have been interference. There was none, and we have reached the 2-minute warning. With the Saints still in possession, but trailing 17-0. The 2-minute warning is brought to you by Kidda. Reminding you to replace your smoke and CO alarms every 10 years. Install Kidda's worry-free alarms, offering 10 years of non-stop battery protection. Kidda, technology that saves lives. Vikings 17, Saints nothing. Let's step aside. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. In the end zone to our left, they have a wall of windows. It's all the way to the ceiling, and we can see downtown Minneapolis, but it's very foggy. There is snow, there is wind, there is cold. We are indoors. Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Laura Oakman, and we have seen the Vikings completely dismantle the New Orleans Saints. It's 17-0 Minnesota. We're at the 2-minute warning, Trent.
Well, and it's important to remember that the Saints have all 3 timeouts left, but because of that incompletion now, the Vikings with 2 timeouts, if they get a stop here, they could use one of theirs to try and get the ball back, leave themselves some time if they're able to get possession.
Breeze will be in the gun, 2nd down and 10 at his 20. There's the snap. It's spelled high. Sets and throws an arching spiral. Far sideline over the shoulder catch made by Ginn on the sideline. Grabs it at about the 32-33. Picks up 13 on 2nd and 10. It's a 1st down for the New Orleans Saints.
Well, that time Ginn just running an out route, a 10-yard out route against Xavier Rhodes. Big cushion by Rhodes. Not wanting to give up the deep ball in that situation. Lets Ginn catch the ball, and he gets both feet down as he drags that last foot as he gets out of bounds.
Rhodes is all pro in the secondary. 1st and 10 with the Saints moving left to right at their own 33. Shotgun snap, 5 in the secondary. Breeze from behind, hit and brought down by Griffin. The ball is loose. A pile ensues on the 26. It looks like it was recovered on the bottom by Max Unger, the center. But Griffin, so disruptive on that defensive line for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, the Vikings that time decide to rush 5, go to man coverage, safety in the middle of the field.
A 30-second timeout.
New Orleans calls a timeout.
So they lose 7. They go back to their 27, they say now. 2nd and 17 will be coming up. First sack by the Vikings, Trent. They lose 7 on the play. While we have a chance, let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves. Coast to coast and around the world, this is Westwood One, your home for the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 52. So the Saints will have 2 timeouts. Vikings have 2. 1:42 to play in the first half. Fans on their feet in full throat. 17-0 Minnesota leads. Breeze breaks huddle with that black number 9 on that white jersey. Brings his hands to his mouth. 2nd and 16. The ball at the 27-yard line in New Orleans. Shotgun snap. He looks into the nickel. Screen pass. Kamara makes the catch on the 20. On the numbers, the 30. Got a block on the 40. Gets another block at the 45. Somebody lost a helmet, but he runs past the 50, and he's down to the Minnesota 49. A great catch and run by Kamara of 24 yards and a 1st down for the New Orleans Saints. The player that lost the helmet was the linebacker, Eric Kendricks, of the Vikings, and he is on a knee. But it's a 1st down for New Orleans. They'll attend to Kendricks, and there's a timeout on the field. And they're going to charge it against the Vikings inside 2 minutes. So the Vikings have 1, the Saints have 2.
Well, and Kendricks, the reason why he lost his helmet and why they had to stop it for injury is as he was diving to try and make that tackle of Kamara, the back foot or the heel of Kamara comes up and hits the underneath of the face mask in the chin area.
Right.
And that pops the helmet off and maybe gives, hopefully he doesn't lose any teeth on that one. He's a little slow to get up, and they're checking him out right now. Looks like there may be some blood. Took a heel there to the face, the nose, the lip area.
All right, the Saints break huddle. They're right on the painted Viking logo at midfield. They're at the 50-yard line. It is 1st and 10. Breeze in the gun, looks into the nickel, low shotgun snap, backpedals, now throws a pass, and it's a diving catch on the numbers at the 45-yard line by Hill. He then spun, beating Sendejo. Oh, they call incomplete. They call an incomplete pass. Sendejo was right there, and the dive on the short pass could not be hauled in by the New Orleans tight end. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10.
And I've been impressed with the Vikings in terms of their coverage. They've had tight coverage. There haven't been a lot of windows for Drew Brees to try and throw this in. And once again, 3 different receivers I watched on that play, and they had defenders in their hip pocket the entire time.
Brees, when he huddles with his offense, goes to an E, old school. Now he gets up. They all separate. Brees has got black wristbands on each wrist. Gets the shotgun snap on 2nd and 10. Looks into the nickel, throws down the middle. It's caught in stride, 14-yard. Make it the 40-yard line by Thomas. Goes to the 35, stiff arms his way outside the numbers to the 30-yard line of Minnesota. It is a catch and run by the terrific Pro Bowl wide receiver, Michael Thomas. And he takes it down deep into Viking territory at the Minnesota 30. The clock is at 1:02 and ticking. 2 timeouts remaining for New Orleans. Brees quickly assembles his team at the line. He's in the shotgun formation. He's deployed 3. He looks into the secondary, which numbers 5 for the Vikings. 1st down and 10. Brees in the gun, arms extended, hand signals, setting up his protections. Gets the snap on 1st and 10. Runs out of the pocket, throws on the run, incomplete to the 20-yard line. To the numbers for Willie Snead. Coverage by Newman. Pressure by Barr. Incomplete New Orleans pass.
And Kevin, the reason that took so much time is because of this crowd noise. Brees was trying to signal to the offensive line that he wanted protection to go to the left because that's where the blitz was coming from. Had they been able to pick that up, there was a free release by the back out into the flat, so there was an extra receiver with only 1 defender. If he could have been able to get it to him, instead, because of that pressure, Brees has to flush to his right, away from the pressure and away from the open receiver, missing an opportunity for a big game.
Brees in the gun, 5 wide, looks into the nickel from the Viking 30, 2nd and 10. Low shotgun snap, he backpedals and throws in the dirt. Throws short because the pressure was applied and there was no place to run and no place to hide, and Tom Johnson was coming up the middle off that defensive line of the number 1 defense in the NFL of Minnesota. Incomplete pass by Brees on purpose. Throwing it away.
Well,
3rd and 10.
And Johnson was all over him. He got pressure right up the middle, and that's the hardest thing as a quarterback. If you get it off the edge, you can step up or slide up in the pocket. When it comes from the interior, you've got to try flushing to the outside. The problem is Johnson came through so quickly, there was no escape for Drew Brees.
36 seconds to play in the first half. Saints getting shut out, 17-0. Brees at the 30 of Minnesota, 3rd and 10. Shotgun snap, looks into the nickel. The pressure, the sack. Harrison Smith comes through, brings down Drew Brees back at the 40. It's a loss of 10, second sack registered for the Viking D. Back at the 40-yard line.
Sorry about that, Kevin. They came back with the same blitz they did on first time. Harrison Smith coming free off the left side. You tried turning protection that way. The problem is there's not enough defenders. There's not enough receivers to that side to cause a flood. So because of that, Smith gets a clean shot. Brees' eyes are to the right, able to bring him down for the big sack.
Vikings have taken another timeout, which is their final first half timeout. They lead at 17-0 on 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 interceptions of Brees cashed in. And let's see what New Orleans is going to do. It is 4th and 20, and they have brought out their kicker, Will Lutz, who last week, Trent, against Carolina, booted a 57-yard field goal in the wild card playoff game against the Panthers indoors in New Orleans. This will be a 58-yarder. The ball going down right on the Viking logo. At the 48, it'll be a 58-yard field goal try by New Orleans. Ball put down. Right-footed kick is up and wide left. No. Missing. Wide left. No. They cannot hit, and the shutout is still there for the Vikings defense as the Saints miss a 58-yard field goal try.
Well, and Lutz had plenty of leg on that one. He just pulled it left a little bit, and now it's important to remember, you try a 58-yard field goal, you're all of a sudden giving field position to the Vikings that still have, what do they have left? They have no timeouts left in 21 seconds.
Let's see what the Vikings will do with that. Stay up to date with Westwood One Sports by following us on Twitter at Westwood One Sports. That's Westwood, the number one, then sports. You'll also find a link to our Twitter page and much, much more at westwoodonesports.com. The Vikings assemble. They'll have the ball at their own 48-yard line. They bring in a myriad of receivers. As Trent said, they've got no timeouts, a 17-0 lead and 21 seconds on the first half clock. Case Keenum will be in the gun, flanked by McKinnon. 4 on the defensive line for New Orleans from the Viking 48. Shotgun snap, drops back 5, hit as he throws, wobbly pass incomplete on a short pass to the numbers in the 50, and he was looking for his crossing receiver Diggs. It's incomplete. A flag has been thrown back where the quarterback was stuck by Cameron Jordan and others off the defensive line of New Orleans.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, blow to the head, defense from the 91, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's a rookie, Trey Hendrickson, who along with Cameron Jordan collide with the quarterback at the same time, and now the penalty, a big one against that Saints defense. With the clock, Trent, it's 17 seconds to play in the first half.
Well, Jordan and Hendrickson are coming off of both edges. They're both getting pressure on. They both put their arms up at the same time to try and tip the pass or affect the passing lane. The problem is they keep those arms up, and as they come through, both of them with their arms hit Keenum in the helmet. Easy call for Gene Steratore as they protect the quarterbacks more now.
Saints 37, 1st and 10. Keenum in the gun, looks into 6 defensive backs. He gets the shotgun snap. He drops back and throws a short pass to the near side. Over the shoulder catch on the sideline. It's made near the 31-yard line, near sideline by Rudolph over the shoulder. A gain of 6 on the play. That'll stop the clock with 13 seconds. Vikings without a timeout, leading 17-0 and trying to do some more damage here before the end of the first half.
Well, now with 13 seconds and no timeouts, if you throw the ball in the middle of the field, I'm not sure you can get everybody up there and spike the ball and get set. So you have to either have an incompletion and throw into the end zone or make sure your receiver is close enough to the sideline they can step out.
Viking quarterback Case Keenum with a 2nd down and 4. He's at the 31-yard line in New Orleans with a 4-man front and 5 in their secondary. He's in the shotgun. It's the belt eye snap. Drops back 5. Shuffles up. Arches a long spiral pass out of the back of the end zone. He had Thielen, who may have been in his sights. Marcus Williams was covering, but the ball sailed about 5 yards beyond the end of the end zone. Now the clock is at 7 seconds, and they're going to try for 3.
Well, the Saints were in cover 2-man coverage. That means they have 2 deep safeties playing zone. Everybody else is in man-to-man, so they're in trail techniques on all the receivers, so there was no passing lane. Thielen was just running a dig route right about the goal line, so Keenum makes the smart decision as the rush is only 4 guys as it's collapsing around him. Throw it out of the back of the end zone. Give your kicker an opportunity to get some late points.
Kai Forbath will try a 49-yard field goal for the Vikings. Ball put down, the kick is up, and that is going to be wide left as well. No good. Plenty of leg, plenty of distance as the kick was going to our left, but it is wide left. And the clock has 2 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. See the world's best and see the world at its best. The 2018 Winter Olympics coming February 8th, only on NBC. And here, exclusive radio coverage right here from South Korea on Westwood One. So Forbath misses the 49-yard field goal. The score remains, Trent, 17-0 Vikings. 2 seconds to play here before halftime.
Well, I guess it took all the way until 2 seconds left in the half before we could say anything negative about what the Vikings have done here in the first half, because they've been dominant on both sides of the football and in the special teams as well. So going into halftime up 17-0.
Breeze will take a knee. Clock expires. We're at the half here in Minneapolis. The Vikings lead on a touchdown run of 14 yards by McKinnon, 1-yard touchdown run by Latavius Murray, and a couple of interceptions that are converted into points by the Vikings. 2 Breeze interceptions in the first half. 17-0 Minnesota. The winner goes to Philadelphia for the NFC Championship game next week. When we come back, Scott Graham joins us from our Progressive Insurance Studios with the halftime report. Get your quote at Progressive.com today. You're listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One.
Scott Graham in our Westwood One studios in New York. We reached halftime in Minnesota, and the Vikings totally dominant in that first half of play, leading the New Orleans Saints by a score of 17-0 as they try to reach the NFC Championship game. Earlier today, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Jacksonville Jaguars got together right here on Westwood One, trying to reach the AFC title game in New England next week. Remember, Jacksonville beat Pittsburgh back in Week 5 by a 30-9 score. And the Jags were on fire early in this game. Leonard Fournette scored a touchdown. Then after a Ben Roethlisberger interception, he scored another. With 5:26 left to go in the first quarter, the Jags were up by a 14-0 score. Ultimately, it was 21-0 before Roethlisberger threw his first touchdown pass of the day midway through the second quarter. But any hopes the Steelers had of getting within one score were fumbled away by Big Ben.
Roethlisberger, quick drop out of the gun, pumps once to the right, now to the left, and he is going to go down. He fumbled the football. It's picked up by the Jags and Telvin Smith. He could go the whole way on the near sideline. Inside the 10-5, touchdown Jacksonville. It's a 50-yard return, and the Jags are on top 27-7.
Tom McCarthy right here on Westwood One with the call. It was 28-7, just north of the 2-minute warning in the first half. Now, amazingly, the Steelers converted on a 4th down and scored with 25 seconds to go in the half to get back within 28-14 at the break. Then, when Le'Veon Bell caught a 19-yard touchdown pass from Ben Roethlisberger, it was a one-score game. Fournette scored again early in the fourth quarter, but Steelers bounced right back. Antonio Brown on a 4th down play, a 43-yard touchdown, his second amazing catch of the game. And with 9:05 to go, it was a one-score game at 35-28. But that's when the Jags put together perhaps their best drive of the year. 8 plays, 75 yards, and Blake Bortles went to his least likely target to salt this game away.
It's 2nd down and 8 for the 14. I formation. Bohannon, the fullback, off the play fake. Bortles to throw. Throws to the end zone to a wide-open Bohannon. Touchdown, Jaguars. A 14-yard lob from Blake Bortles, and they continue to add on points. It's 41-28 with 4:19 to play in the fourth quarter.
Amazingly, there were more points. The Jags would go on to win it, though, 45-42. Jacksonville beats Pittsburgh on their home field for the second time this year, and the Jaguars punched their ticket to the AFC title game for the first time since 1999. After the game, our own Westwood One Steve Tasker caught up with Telvin Smith.
Congratulations, Telvin. Talk a little bit. You had a ton of tackles today. You look like you weigh 15 pounds, nothing less. Tell me about it.
Listen, players gonna play, and I'm a player. Big-time players gonna make big-time plays in games. And, man, I'm telling you, when the team needed it, I came through. Thank Yannick for making the trip in the first place, the D-line for getting it out. And for me to see it, A.B. pushed me because I seen A.B. Jones going to get it, and I had to get it in the scope for the team. But, man, this was a big win for the whole city. Duval!
How good did it feel? And I know you got a penalty for it, but you knew you were running it in. You pointed at it. You knew it was going to be a touchdown, and what a huge play it was.
It was a big one, and that was a game changer. We said the defense needed to score, and we did it. You know what I mean? And you're right. It was a little, a little extra, but it ain't nothing but love out here between these lines. We won, man. We won.
Telvin Smith in a winning effort, 45-42 over Pittsburgh. We'll send it back to you, Scott.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. You're talking about a team that did it with defense all year long. Today, they got into a track meet with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The defense was important, though. Ben Roethlisberger had himself a day. He threw for 469 yards and 5 touchdowns on the day, but afterwards could only talk about disappointment.
It's tough. It stings. You hate to lose it. You hate to lose it at home. I feel bad because I feel like I let the fans down, my teammates down. And, the fans, we gave them so much to enjoy and cheer for this year, but to lose this at home, there'll be some that say, we had a great season, thanks for the ride, but a lot of them are disappointed like we are. It wasn't enough. And I feel bad for that. I feel like I let a lot of people down, and I'll take it all on myself. That's fine, and I have no problem with that.
So the Steelers season comes to an end, and it sets up an AFC title game next week right here on Westwood One with the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, their first time in the championship game since 1999. Our halftime score right now in Minnesota, the Vikings 17, the New Orleans Saints nothing. This is Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. Welcome back to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One from the Progressive Insurance Studios. I'm Scott Graham. Progressive's Name Your Price tool offers a range of coverage and price options to choose from. Now that's Progressive. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. 17-point lead for the Minnesota Vikings right now. And don't forget, next weekend, Westwood One brings you Championship Sunday. The AFC title game now set. The Jacksonville Jaguars at the New England Patriots. The NFC title game, the winner of this one, in Philadelphia against the Eagles. Our doubleheader coverage will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on most of these same stations. Log on to WestwoodOneSports.com for more details. Hear the playoff picture unfold right here on Westwood One. Our halftime score, the Minnesota Vikings 17, the New Orleans Saints nothing. When we return, Kevin Harlan and Trent Green will have the second half kickoff. You're listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One.
Welcome back to downtown Minneapolis. Our halftime score, the Vikings 17-0 over the New Orleans Saints. Breeze, a couple of interceptions, 2 rushing touchdowns by Minnesota. Let's check the halftime numbers, brought to you by McDonald's new $1, $2, $3 menu. Build whatever meal you want with favorites like the McChicken or Happy Meal. All for just $1, $2, or $3. So Breeze has gone 8 of 18 for 117, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Case Keenum, Trent Green, 12 of 18, 113 through the air, sacked once, no touchdowns. His game has propelled long drives. They've gotten the 2 interceptions to sustain more possessions, and they lead it 17-0 going to the second half.
Well, I think the keys for the second half would be the Saints. I think they need to change things up. They haven't converted a third down yet. They are averaging 4 yards a carry in the run game, but they're down 17 points. So why not go to a hurry-up offense? They had some success getting yardage, not getting points, but getting yardage. And then I think for the Vikings, keep bringing the heat. Breeze has not been able to be comfortable all day because of that pressure, different combinations of pressure that they've been able to apply to Drew Brees.
Those are Trent Green's keys to the second half, brought to you by Discover Card, who will match all the cash back new members earn at the end of their first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply. You've probably been in games like this before where you're down 17-0. It's pretty daunting, isn't it, on the road against a team, and in this case, the number 1 defense in football.
Well, and I think that's, you go in at halftime, and you may be down 17 points, and you may be having some struggles, but the thing is, you just want to maintain your composure. Okay, let's not go into panic mode, right? You want to come out and just execute better. If you look at some of the opportunities that the Saints had offensively, they were there. There were some plays there to be made. It just didn't materialize because of penalties. And then you look at your defense. Your defense, some of those yards are, how many penalties? How many of those pass interference calls you and I were talking about, Kevin? So you've been setting them up with some of those penalties. So if you just can eliminate some of those mistakes, you're giving yourself a chance here in the second half.
Vikings are going to get the opening kickoff here in the second half, and the start of the second half is powered by Ram trucks. Trucks that are proven to last. Deep back will be Marcus Sherrills in the end zone to our left. The kickoff is coming up for New Orleans, and away we go. It is end over ends, and Sherrills will let it go out of the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Vikings, who lead it 17-0. They'll have the ball, Laura Oakman, beginning at their own 25.
And Trent was saying you don't want to panic in this situation. Sean Payton was not. He said we struggled on third downs offensively and defensively. We've let our defense on the field way too long. Down 17, he said, run, pass, screen. I still think we have to mix it up and play with balance. Mike Zimmer talked to his team at halftime about the same thing he talked to them about all the time, closing out a game. They focus a lot on second-half situations, how to close them out. He said, we have a team that plays well in the fourth quarter. That's because we have a team that rises to the moment. We have 30 moments left to rise to this one.
Keenum under center from his 25, 1st and 10. He gets the snap and hands off to Murray, directed over the center and drilled by Teo and company. For the New Orleans defense, he loses on the play 3. He'll be brought down back at the 22-yard line of Minnesota. A good way for that defense of the Saints to begin the second half.
Well, and I love hearing the comments from Coach Zimmer that Laura just told us, the fact that you want to close out a football game. And, so many times coaches get caught up in, okay, we got a 17-point lead. Let's see how we can just keep the clock moving and keep the clock running and hang on to the win. Instead, Coach Zimmer is talking about, hey, let's close this thing out. So I like that attitude coming into the second half.
Second down, 13. Keenum in the gun from his own 22. Looks into the nickel. Shotgun snap. Drops back. Short throw near side. Caught by Murray over the shoulder. Sideline 25. Goes to the 30. From behind, he carries a defender on his back to the 35. He's knocked out of bounds in front of his own bench. Right in front of us here. Into the Vikings sideline. Knocked out by Crowley. It's a catcher on a 13 by Murray, and a first down for the Vikings just beyond their own 35.
Excellent job by Keenum. Don't force anything downfield if it's not there. Just take the quick throw to the swing. You get the ball out in space for Latavius Murray. He gives a little stutter step to freeze the defender, and then he's able to work up that left sideline and get the first down.
Vikings are moving from right to left. They've got the ball at their own 35, and the clock now just passing the 14-minute mark of the third quarter. 17-0 Minnesota. 1st and 10. 3 wide under center is Keenum. He fakes the handoff. He rolls out of the pocket. He's being chased. He's on the numbers. Throws on the run. It's caught. A chest high grab by Thielen at the 43 far sideline, and then knocked out of bounds by Lattimore. They're going to say he hits the chalk across the way in front of the Saints bench on the far sideline near the 45 and about a half yard shy of a first down. Good throw on the run by the Viking quarterback.
Well, and Thielen does an excellent job, has done an excellent job all season of coming back to the football, not allowing to sit and wait on it and give the defender the advantage. Thielen's a little slow getting up off of that. He's limping back towards the huddle, and they just put a replacement in for him. So he does start to jog off the field, but definitely affected on that tackle.
Vikings break huddle with a 2nd down and 1, just beginning the second half at their own 45. It's a handoff to Murray over the right tackle. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage and brought down, and no gain on the play. Trying to extend it, angling to the far side, no blocking there. Robertson read it well, and the linebacking core for New Orleans brings him down, no gain. It'll be 3rd and 1 for Minnesota. Clock at 12:40, ticking third quarter.
Well, and you nailed it when you said Robertson read it well. He came up on Berger, the right guard for the Vikings, and completely just pushed him away from where the block was supposed to be, and by getting off of that block so quickly and easily, he's able to get in the backfield and prevent him from getting the first down.
Vikings have it 3rd down and 1. They've got the ball at their own 45. Offset eye, handoff to Ham, the fullback bursting through over the guard, the 45 on the hash mark, the 50, and he finds the first down. C.J. Ham with only his 8th carry of the season, bursting for 7 over the guard on the hash mark, and a first down for the Minnesota Vikings to the 49-yard line of New Orleans.
Well, and you said it, Kevin, bursting through the line. He gets 7 yards. He's only had 13 yards on the season, so he's mainly used in those short-yarded situations, and he's all excited getting a chance to carry the rock.
4-man front for the Saints from the 49 of New Orleans. 1st and 10 Minnesota. Shotgun snap. Quick throw outside. Two-handed helmet eye catch on the sideline. 45 made by Diggs. Spins outside the numbers. Dives to the 42 of New Orleans. And it's a catch of 7 on the play with the terrific receiver, Stephon Diggs, with over 64 catches this year. Later on, we'll select the drive of the game, brought to you by Geico. Great news, there's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico, go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. 2nd down and 3, it's a handoff to McKinnon, runs over the right tackle, crosses the 40, hits the numbers, and gets down near the 39-yard line, hit by Bell, and a pickup of 2. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Vikings on the first possession of the second half, with a Minnesota lead of 17-0.
Well, Thielen's back in there. He was in the left slot that time, and it was his responsibility to block Bell, who was lined up over the slot. He came in on that run play, and because of the angle, it'll be interesting to see. Just keep an eye on Thielen the rest of the way here. As we said, he was limping after that last reception. Definitely didn't have the burst that time to go and get Bell on the block.
40-yard line in New Orleans, 3rd and 1. Keenum is under center. And it's a fake handoff, and he rolls out of the pocket and throws on the run. It's caught by Rudolph, the tight end, hit high at the 40. Runs to the far sideline, the 36-yard line, and brought down on the play by Freeney, the linebacker. It's a gain of 4, a short gain, but a first down. They move the chains again to the 36-yard line of the Saints.
Well, and just your traditional naked bootleg where you come out, nobody's pulling the guard. They wanted to sell it like it was a run. Ham, the fullback, the tailback, everybody was going that way, making it think that it was a run to the left. Instead, Rudolph sneaks out to the right flat for the first down.
With the 1st and 10 handoff, here's Keenum. Gives to Murray, runs over the left tackle, stiff-arming his way to the near sideline, bursting and bouncing off bodies, and he'll take it down to the 29-yard line and a gain of 5 and hit by Robertson and the linebacking core of New Orleans. Down to the Saints 29. The clock is ticking, under 10 now to play in the third, and it's a 17-0 Viking lead, and they're moving again.
Well, this is more of what we saw in the first half. It's very methodical, long possession, converting third downs, getting a good amount of yards on 1st and 2nd down, setting yourself up for 3rd and short, getting those conversions, once again using the clock and moving their way down the field.
From the 29 of the New Orleans Saints, 2nd down and 4. Under center is the quarterback, Keenum, and he hands off to Murray. Tried to run over the left guard and stuck behind the line of scrimmage. Knocked down at the 31, losing a couple on the play, hit by Hendrickson off that line. One of those good-looking rookies for the New Orleans Saints. Next Sunday, don't miss all the NFL excitement on CBS. It's the AFC Championship game, Jacksonville at New England. Check local listings for more details. Catch the NFL playoffs on CBS and right here on Westwood One. It's 3rd down and 4, 7-minute drive. Make it a 6-minute drive by the Vikings to start the second half. Leading 17-0 at the 30-yard line in New Orleans. In the gun, 5 in the secondary. Keenum takes his hands now, wipes it on the towel off his front belt buckle. He gets the snap. He looks and pump fakes, and then the pocket crumbles, and he's brought down. Sacked on the play, brought down on the play by Sheldon Rankins. Third sack of the year, knocks him out of field goal range, and here comes the punting unit for Minnesota as they will stall and not able to get anything. A loss of 10 on the play, Trent, and it puts them back at the 40-yard line of New Orleans.
Well, in that time, Keenan was trying to find Kyle Rudolph. He had the whole middle of the field to try and work his way open. It was just zone coverage, sits down, but with that zone coverage, there's two linebackers there in coverage. Nowhere for him to squeeze the ball into by hanging onto it that long. That's what caused the sack and forced the punt instead of a field goal attempt.
Quigley of the Vikings will punt. It goes from right to left. Deep back is Tommy Lee Lewis. Lets it bounce inside the 5, and it goes into the end zone. Vikings cannot keep it in, as they had bodies in there diving for it and trying to volleyball it backwards, including Jaron Kearse, unsuccessful. So it's to the 20-yard line and a touchback on the Minnesota punt. And Breeze will take it for the first time here in the second half. 7:58 to play, 17-0. The Vikings lead New Orleans in the third. And this is Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. Welcome back to the Grainger broadcast booth. We're in snowy Minneapolis with Trent Green, Kevin Harlan, the products and services you need when you need them. Grainger's got your back to help keep your facility running. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. Crowd on their feet. The Viking defense is out there for the first time in the second half. Their drive stalled. The Viking offense did. The punt by Quigley lands in the end zone. His first touchback in over 70 punts this season for the Vikings. Amazing. So beginning at the 20-yard line, Breeze, who has thrown 2 interceptions, will be under center, trailing 17-0. First and 10, the snap, the spin, handoff, Kamara. Got a block from the guard. He's on the left tackle at the 20. Tried to run to the far side. Got out to the 25 and picks up 5 yards on first down for the New Orleans Saints with the hit made by Kendricks. Trent Green, it'll be second down and 5.
Well, and just when we thought this half was going to start off the way that first half was rolling, the Saints come up with a big sack on third down, force the Vikings to punt. Now they get the ball back, as you've talked about, Kevin. The fact is, the Saints are tied with New England with 7 touchdowns on their first possession of the second half. That's exactly what they need to get back in this ballgame.
Breeze in the gun, 5 in the Vikings secondary, second down 5, short pass across the middle, caught in stride Thomas. He got it on the hash mark with the belt high catch at the 30, runs to the 35 on the hash mark. He picks up 10 on second and 5. He's got a Saints first down, Trent, to the 35-yard line in their territory.
Well, it's going to be important in this second half to get Michael Thomas more involved. Get the ball in his hands. Get the yards after catch. The Vikings do a tremendous job of tackling and not allowing yards after catch. But the Saints, 55% of Drew Brees' passing yards have come with yards after catch, which is the most in the NFL.
Brees at his 34. With a first and 10 in the shotgun, looking at a 4-man defensive front for the Vikings. Arms outstretched, shotgun snap, got the block from the left tackle. There's a line drive pass, belt high catch made on the numbers, 42-yard line. Grabbed there by Ted Ginn Jr. He spun, picked up 9. They'll take it out to the 43-yard line of New Orleans.
And you can sense a little bit more timing, a little bit more rhythm in the passing game and in what Drew Brees is trying to get done. These last couple throws, he looks more comfortable. You can tell by a quarterback's feet and rhythm, and that's just what's taken place here the last couple of throws for the Saints.
Good observation. Second down 1, handoff to Ingram, who runs over the guard, is stuck between the line of scrimmage and that first down marker, then may have gotten another yard with a spinning hard move. Daniil Hunter brings him down. And let's see, he got about a half yard, and he's a half yard shy. It'll be third and less than 1 for the Saints, who need something positive on offense. Third quarter clock is at 5:48. A timeout has been taken. The Saints are trailing 17-0. The crowd in full throat, and the Vikings have done a great job controlling this game so far.
Well, and what it was, Sean Payton actually came out almost all the way to the numbers to grab the official on that side of the field and say he wanted a measurement because of how close this is going to be. And really what that does, he just gives him an extra timeout to try and figure out what play he wants to call.
Good move by Payton. They're going to be a football's length shy of the first down. And so the offense goes back out there. NFL players are strongest under pressure. So is Castrol Edge, the official motor oil sponsor of the NFL. Vote for the Castrol Edge Clutch Performer of the Year. at NFL.com/CastroEdge today. 3rd and 1. Huddling New Orleans. They break huddle. They're at their own 44. Breeze is under center. The snap and a quarterback sneak, and he's got the first down. Wedging his way between the left guard and the center. He carves out 2. They'll move the chains, and the drive stays alive for New Orleans.
Well, that was a quick snap. They got up there as soon as they could, and Breeze trying to get a quick cadence to try and catch the defense on their heels a little bit. And as you said, Kevin, he got low, got underneath the defenders. There was nobody over the center, so it created a lane, and he tried, once he got the first down, to protect himself, because you can take quite a shot when you're on the bottom of that pile.
17-0 Vikings, 3rd quarter clock at 5:03 and ticking. 1st and 10 New Orleans in their white jerseys and black pants and old gold-colored helmets. Under center is Breeze on 1st and 10, hands off to Kamara over the right tackle. He crosses the 45. He's outside the hash mark to the 48 and brought down right there by Linville Joseph. A gain of about 3 on that first down carry by the rookie out of Tennessee, Alvin Kamara.
Well, and Joseph was being blocked by the center, Max Unger, and he just comes off of that block. It looks like Kamara was going to be able to make a nice cutback lane and be able to get some big yards, but Joseph just wrapped him up and didn't let him go anywhere.
2nd down long 6. Vikings break huddle, and defensively they're standing on their logo. Breeze takes his offense to the line, which is the 49 of New Orleans. He's under center with a couple tight ends, a 4-man front. The snap, the spin, the fake handoff. He rolls out of the pocket. He sets, he drops deep. There's a line drive down the middle. Wobbly ball. It's a 2-handed catch made at the 35-yard line between the hash marks by Thomas. Moves a pile down to the 30. Took a couple to bring him down, including Rhodes, including Smith, including Alexander. He caught that ball. He drug him down with him to the 32. A pickup of 22 on the wobbly throw by Drew Brees, and a first down for New Orleans.
Well, Brees with the play fake to the left, the bootleg rollout to the right. He wants to catch Ted Ginn on a double move, working down the right numbers. But Ginn is double covered, safety and man-to-man in his hip. And Thomas, with a little stutter move on his own on the backside, just does a dig route. Brees gets the read number 2 and gets the big gain.
First down and 10. From the Viking 28, Breeze in the gun for New Orleans. There's the snap and the handoff to Kamara. He runs over the guard, hesitates, runs on the hash mark. He goes past the 25, and let's see, down to the 24-yard line, and a gain of 4, and brought down by Sterling Moore in the secondary. Clock now at 3:10 and ticking. 17-0 Vikings on top. But the Saints, Trent Green, look like they're putting up one of their first big drives of the game here.
And they've just gotten into a rhythm in this drive, and this is exactly what the Saints needed. They got the big sack on 3rd down to keep the Vikings out of field goal range. Now they've turned around and put together a long drive of their own, using up a lot of clock, but that's fine. They need to go down and get some points.
Breeze in the gun. Now he's under center from the 23-yard line of Minnesota. Running back is Ingram. Jet sweep to Kamara, comes to the near side, 25. Got a block, he goes past the 20. Angling to the near sideline, he's down about the 19-yard line and hit by 37-year-old Terrence Newman in the secondary for the Vikings, and all that running produces just 3 yards. They'll put him at the 20 of Minnesota, and the 3rd quarter clock is ticking at 2:23.
Well, Kevin, I talked about in the first half how they were putting Terrence Newman on Kamara when he was in there as the nickel back. That time you said Kamara with the jet sweep as he was coming in motion. Newman was the one running across the formation in man-to-man coverage, and he's the one that came up with the tackle.
Breeze in the gun, 3rd and 2 from the 19 of Minnesota. Gets the snap, cocks his arm, throws a pass low. It's a shoestring catch by Snead on the far sideline at the 15-yard line. He picks up 5. He was working across the way on Trey Waynes. It's a completed pass. It's a first down for the Saints, who continue to move in a long drive, which started back at their 20.
Incredibly difficult catch that Snead comes up with here. He's running a 5-yard out route. Breeze puts this ball low and behind, and Snead is able to reach back and catch it with the fingertips, keep it off the ground, and secure it before getting hit.
Offset eye from the 14-yard line of Minnesota. Breeze under center, 4-man front. The snap, the drop back at 3, cocks his right arm once, runs out of the pocket, looks and throws. It's incomplete. Thomas had held, flag is thrown. Sendejo is down and looks to be in pain at about the 10 on his back. He is down. Incomplete pass, and play has stopped with 1:23 to play in the 3rd.
Well, and he may be knocked out. There was a collision there, and it was
not good.
What offensive players call a rub route and what defensive players call a pick. That doesn't look good.
He had a pick earlier in the game. A big interception, a big one, a Breeze, which then led to some
flag on the play.
Points.
Timeout.
Injury timeout. We step aside. Vikings 17, Saints nothing. New Orleans threatening late third quarter. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. NFL fans, gear up for the playoffs at NFLShop.com today. Get free shipping at the official store of the NFL, NFLShop.com. Well, Sendejo walked off under his own power, and I think you're right. I think he was out. It was a pick that knocked him out.
Well, and that's what's confusing about why they picked up the penalty. They said there was no penalty on the play. We've seen the replay several times now. It was Michael Thomas who was on a slant play, and Zach Line, the fullback, was in the flat. Initially, I thought Breeze missed Line. If he had hit him in the flat, nobody was there covering him. That's because Sendejo was knocked out on the play. Somehow that flag gets picked up, so now it's 2nd and 10 instead of a first down situation.
At the 14-yard line of Minnesota. Under center with 2 tight ends. Breeze, 4 in the defensive line for the Vikings. Single back, he gets the snap, he fakes the handoff, he drops back 7. Cocks his right arm, arching spiral, wobbling into the end zone. Touchdown! Over the shoulder catch. Grabbed by Thomas near side. The defender fell. The ball left and then kind of wobbled as it made its way into the end zone, and Thomas grabs the 14-yard touchdown throw by Breeze. Falling was Rhodes, the all-pro defensive back. It's a touchdown, and the Saints are on the board with 1:18 to play deep in the third quarter.
Well, it goes back to one of the plays they ran earlier in the game. It's just a crossing route. You have 2 receivers going out. Thomas was lined up on the left numbers. His landmark is the far back right corner. Same thing with the receiver to the right, the back left corner. Instead, on the mesh, they're able to get Thomas for the touchdown.
Lutz will try the extra point to our right for New Orleans. It is through. 1:18 to go in the third. We have a new score in snowy Minneapolis. Vikings 17, Saints 7. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. Let's check the drive summary brought to you by Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring at Credit Karma today. Credit Karma, get knowing. A Drew Brees orchestrated 12-play, 80-yard drive, 6:40 on the clock. And Trent Green-Thomas was big on that drive. He caught 1 for 10, another for 22, and the big one for 14 after the defender fell in the near corner of the end zone deep.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. Because of that injury to Sendejo, there was a lot of talking going on between the two teams, not only during the injury, but after the touchdown as well. Let's see how both teams react to it. Is that something that could all of a sudden infuse some attitude into the Saints? They get the points on the board, and then for the Vikings, how do they react to one of their players being seriously injured?
Here's the kickoff by New Orleans from left to right. It goes onto the end zone over Sherrill's head. And it'll be a touchback. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Case Keenum at his own 25 with the lead now down to 10 and 1:18 to play in the third. We'll step aside. Vikings on top 17-7. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. Let's check the schedule of games coming up on Westwood One, brought to you by Zelle, a new way to send money from your banking app, Zelle. This is how money moves. Learn more at ZellePay.com. That's Z-E-L-L-E Pay.com. Next weekend, championship Sunday in the NFL on Westwood One. The AFC title game, Jacksonville at New England. The NFC title game, either the Saints or Vikings at Philadelphia. Doubleheader coverage begins at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on most of these stations. Plus the Pro Bowl on January 28th and Super Bowl 52, of course, February 4th, right here from Minnesota. To the sideline, and Laura Oakman.
I'm going to start with Andrew Sendejo. Has been ruled out with a concussion. You wondered how guys would respond. Xavier Rhodes went to the sideline, had to be calmed down by Terrence Newman and Mike Zimmer throwing a trash can, and frustrated with what happened.
Laura, thank you. From the 25, 1st and 10, Keenum's under center. He drops back 3. He looks right, no. Now he backpedals. He's hit as he throws. Launches one high in the air. It's a fly ball, and it's intercepted in the play by Williams. with a leaping two-handed grab. The 30, down the sideline, 25-20. And let's see where they knock him out of bounds. They say he steps out at the 30-yard line with the leaping two-handed interception on the far sideline. And New Orleans has got the ball. Keenum has been picked off. A huge play in this game.
Well, and it's a double move by Stephon Diggs on the outside. Keenum comes back, pump fakes, but as he's waiting, he gets wrapped up, so he has a defender as he's hanging on, so he can't step in to the throw. That's why the ball hangs in the air instead of him being able to drive it to Diggs, who had beat the defender on the double move. But because of that, the ball floating in the air, that allows the safety to get over the top and get the interception.
Big pick by Marcus Williams. And they look, of course, at every turnover, so that is being reviewed as we speak. They have ruled it an interception. Williams makes it off of Keenum. And Drew Brees has been given a golden opportunity. He's got the ball at the 30 of the Vikings. Down a starter in their secondary. 10-point deficit for New Orleans. Brees to the line and under center with the 1st and 10. Gets the snap, hands off, Ingram over the guard at the 30. And he was on the hash mark, and maybe his progress, it did. It took him to the 29. He picks up a yard to the Viking 29-yard line.
Well, and once again, Linval Joseph manning the middle of that defensive line. He's got a guy on him. He just sticks. I rarely see a back like Ingram get taken down, but with just the one arm. Linval Joseph sticks out his right arm and just yanks him to the ground. It's tremendous effort on Joseph's part.
The Saints are moving left to right, and it's 2nd down and 9 with a wall of noise coming from the capacity crowd inside here in Minneapolis. Brees will send 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. He's in the gun from the 29-yard line of Minnesota. 4 on the defensive line. Shotgun snap. Brees gets it. Cocks his arm. Throws a line drive down the middle. Leaping two-handed backpedaling catch at the 15 on the hash mark. Grabbed by Hill, the tight end. Drilled on the play by Anthony Harris. It's a pickup of 14 for New Orleans. They've got a 1st and 10 at the 15 of Minnesota.
Well, and Hill just running an inside dig route. Harrison Smith is in his traditional spot down by linebacker depth, so that takes Anthony Harris, who's filling in for the injured Sendejo. He has to come up and make that tackle.
That's how the 3rd quarter comes to a close, and we've got a bang-up 4th quarter ahead. At the end of 3, going to the 4th, Vikings 17-7 over New Orleans. You're listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One. Welcome back to the Twin Cities along with Trent Green and Laura Oakman. Kevin Harlan after 3 quarters of play. 17-7 Minnesota. The start of the 4th quarter brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's 4 for 4 is better than ever. Now you have 8 different sandwich options along with nuggets, a small fry, and a small drink, all for just $4. Available at participating Wendy's for a limited time only. Well, it's Drew Brees. Down by 10, a whole quarter to go. 1st and 10 at the Viking 15-yard line after their defensive back, Trent Green. Marcus Williams made an interception to Case Keenum.
Well, and that's the only mistake that Case Keenum has made so far in this game, and it came at a very costly time, as now you've all of a sudden set the Saints up in position to go ahead and make this a 3-point game if they can get in the end zone.
Brees has got that eye black under each eye. He's under center. He repositions his tight end. He's got a single back, and he's got a 1st and 10 from the Viking 15. Pitch out, Kamara near side. Got a block from the tackle on the 20. On the far sideline, the 15. He breaks the tackle. He goes to the 10. He tried to cut in. He stepped on the chalk, and I think he got as far as the 9. He did on the far sideline, his own bench's sideline. A gain of 6 for the elusive Alvin Kamara.
Well, they turn and act like they're throwing a toss or a sweep to the left to Ingram, but Kamara is coming across from left to right. He intercepts the pitch as it's going in the air and takes it the other direction. If it wasn't for the speed of Eric Kendricks getting from one side of the field to the other to push him out of bounds, that could have easily been a 1st down, if not a touchdown.
Saints 2nd down and 4. In the shotgun from the Viking 9. There's a fake handoff and a quick throw sideways, caught by the Kamara. Got a block at the 10, runs on the sideline, the 5. He gets as far as the 2. Coming to the near sideline with a belt-high catch. He runs and is hit by Anthony Harris, who made the touchdown-saving tackle. It's a gain of 7, but it will be goal to go for the New Orleans Saints, and a player is down on the near sideline near the pylon, and it is a Viking.
Yeah,
I think it's Rhodes, right?
It could be. Yeah, it could be Rhodes, Xavier Rhodes, who was the one that was so upset that Laura told us about after the injury to Sendejo. He gets caught up as the defenders are collapsing around Kamara to make that tackle. He gets caught in the bottom of that pile, so I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate what it is that happened with him.
They've already lost one starter, Sendejo, as Laura Oakman told us earlier. Here comes Rhodes now, and he is wobbly. Clock is at 14:10, fourth quarter. The Saints have picked off Keenum. They've got it down to the 2. It is first and goal, New Orleans. They've already scored a touchdown in this second half on a 14-yard touchdown throw. Breeze to Thomas. And the ball that came out strong began to wobble, and yet it was still hauled in as Rhodes, who was covering Thomas in the corner of the end zone, fell, and Thomas was free to haul it in over his shoulder. Now they have another scoring opportunity. How this game has turned, and the turnovers by both teams have played a role.
It has played a major role in this, and now it's set up the Saints to where they're going to be first and goal. And this loss of Rhodes, they just took him under the blue tent on the sidelines. Rhodes made All-Pro at 2 different positions. He was first-team All-Pro as a cornerback. He was second-team All-Pro as labeled a defensive back. First player in Vikings history to be All-Pro at 2 different positions.
It's time for the Indeed.com fact of the game. Today marks the first playoff game in this new stadium, U.S. Bank Stadium, 2 years old, and the 22nd home game in Vikings postseason history. 11 outdoor, and now 11 indoor. Minnesota was 6-4 inside the Metrodome, and in the elements, 7-3. Indeed, that is the fact of the game, brought to you by Indeed.com. Here's another fact. Indeed.com is the world's #1 job site. Are you hiring? With Indeed, you can post a job in minutes, set up a screener question, then zero in on qualified candidates in an online dashboard. Get started at Indeed.com/hire. Looks like the Vikings might be in a position to hire some defensive backs. They've lost 2, and 2 good ones, too.
Well, and that's going to be the major response of how does this unit respond to losing 2 of your most talented players on the back end. This defense has been good all season long. #1 in total defense, #1 in scoring defense, #2 in rushing defense. They've been tremendous across the board. So with the Saints having first and goal down inside the 3-yard line, how do they respond to the loss of 2 of their key players?
Vikings had a 17-0 lead and a 14-yard touchdown run by McKinney and a 1-yard touchdown run by Murray and 2 interceptions of Breeze in the first half. The second half, a pick by New Orleans, a touchdown. Here they go again, threatening. First and goal at the 2. Breeze under center. Single back Kamara. 4 on the defensive line. Breeze the snap. The spin handoff Kamara. He spins as he goes over the left guard. Stuffed by Barr outside the hash mark. No gain on the play. They stop him at the 2. Second down and goal, New Orleans. The clock is ticking at 13:40 in the 4th, and the Saints trail by 10.
Well, and this home crowd is trying to do everything they can to make it difficult for Drew Brees and the Saints. If it isn't calling the play in the huddle, it's at the line of scrimmage. So they're still trying to crank the noise up in here. That time the defensive line and linebackers reacted well, not allowing Kamara to get anywhere near the end zone.
Outside the Viking 2, second down and goal for New Orleans. Breeze under center, 4-man front. He stands up and changes the play, changes protections. Now he crunches him back at his center under. He gets the snap, he fakes the pitch, there's a line drive in the middle, wide open, belt high, touchdown reception, Thomas. He sheds the defense, a laser thrown by Breeze, a 3-yard touchdown pass, and the Saints are back in business. Breeze has done it through the air. 17-13, Vikings lead cut to 4. Less than 2 minutes gone in the 4th quarter. Here comes the extra point by New Orleans.
Well, Thomas is lined up in the right slot. Ted Ginn is to the outside right. This time Drew Brees, he turns to fake the pitch to Ingram going to the left. Because of that, the linebackers flow. He fakes the pitch, turns around. Nobody's there on the inside for that underneath coverage. Easy slant throw to Thomas for the touchdown.
Extra point is away and good by Lutz of the Saints. It's a 3-point game with 13:09 to play. And a couple of starters gone from the secondary of the #1 defense in pro football of Minnesota. And Breeze looks like he's just warming up on the other side for New Orleans.
We talked about them getting into a rhythm in the second half, and that's exactly what's happened. They've been able to, number one, they get that stop when the Vikings, Keenum is sacked on third down, the first possession that takes them out of field goal range, and they're forced to punt. The Saints turn around, drive it all the way down the field, get the touchdown to get 7 points on board. Then after the untimely interception by Case Keenum, the Saints have great field position. They're able to capitalize on that field position and get it to 17-14.
14 unanswered points by the Saints. With Trent Green, Kevin Harlan here in the Grainger broadcast booth in Minneapolis. The products and services you need when you need them. Grainger's got your back to help keep your facility running. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. The Saints have got the ball teed up to our right. And Lutz will kick it off to our left. And Sherrills will let it sail over his head and out of the end zone. So a touchback, and the Vikings will begin at 1st and 10 from their 25. Now, you're in your first playoff game as Keenum is. You've thrown a pick. You've lost a 17-0 lead. It would be interesting to know his thoughts right about now.
Well, I think if you're Pat Shurmur, you come out and you do the things that this offense does. Get the running game going, get some play-action pass going. Keenum is one of the most effective players, quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to play-action passes. So get back to some more of that. Instead of earlier where the interception was on, it was a double move. So 3 steps, pump it, try and reset, and then throw it up the field and get back to some of what made this offense work.
Keenum is under center from his 25. He gets the snap and he hands off to Murray over the left tackle. Big hole, 25, 30, 35. He's on the hash mark to the 40-yard line. Running up the middle, galloping into the grass for Marcus Williams, and it's a first down run of 15 yards by Latavius Murray. Big hole, big, gigantic strides, and a first down for Minnesota.
Oh, Kevin, you want to know the best way to help out your quarterback? Run it right up the middle for 15 to get the drive going, get some separation, get a little momentum, get a little fun going in that huddle. Right now, there's a lot of stress in this building because of the history the Vikings have had in recent playoff memory. So they're trying to put that to rest, especially on that first play there with a 15-yard run.
39-yard line of Minnesota. Keenum under center, 1st and 10. Here's a handoff, and it goes to Murray. Runs over the left tackle and stuck by Teo. And there's no gain on the play. Hit at the 39 of the Vikings. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Fourth quarter clock is ticking at 12:15. It's the Viking lead now at 3.
Will Berger that time, the right guard wasn't able to get up to the second level to the linebacker, Teo, and Teo's able to get the gain or the tackle for no gain, actually even a little bit of a loss. So it's impressive stop there by Manti Teo.
Vikings line up again. Purple jerseys, white pants, purple helmets. 2nd down, 10 from the 39. Fake handoff, dropping back 7. Keenum arches a spiral pass down the far side. Over the shoulder, diving, falling down catch at the 35-yard line, far side. Grabbed on the play by Wright. 27-yard strike. And he beat P.J. Williams. What a throw, and terrific diving, falling down catch to the 34 of New Orleans. First down, Minnesota.
That's as good as you can throw the football, but the Vikings trying to get up to the line of scrimmage very quickly and get a quick snap before they drop the red flag, and Peyton drops the flag right before the snap.
To see if it indeed was a catch, we couldn't even see it on the replay, and quickly it is challenged by Sean Payton on the far sideline. On the catch, we think it's a catch by Jarius Wright. The ball was moving clearly as we see it again, but then he traps it against his stomach as he finally hit the turf.
New Orleans is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
Well, and I think this is going to stay a catch. As you said, Kevin, he gets his arms. It was an initial bobble, but he gathers it against his body, and there's no movement. The problem with Sean Payton had is because the Vikings got up to the line so quickly, he couldn't get a chance to see the replay. The coaches in the booth couldn't see a replay, so he had to drop that flag.
This Close-Shave Instant Replay Review is brought to you by Barbasol Premium Disposable Razors. With Close-Shave technology, you're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol. So we've had 2 Drew Brees touchdown passes here in the second half. One of 14 to Thomas, one of 3 to Michael Thomas, the celebrated wide receiver out of Ohio State, is going to the Pro Bowl, who has been terrific with over 100 receptions this season and over 1,200 yards through the air. But the Vikings are coming right back at that New Orleans defense. A run of 15 by Murray. We think a completed pass of 27 to the diving and falling down right on the far sideline across the way, and has been challenged by Sean Payton.
Well, and I can't emphasize enough how great of a throw this was by Case Keenum. Ken Crawley was in the hip pocket of Jarius Wright running a corner route, and Keenum didn't hesitate at all. He slid up in the pocket, made a great throw.
Ruling on the field stands. It is a completed catch. New Orleans will be charged with their first time out of the half. They also have one challenge remaining in regulation.
Vikings will huddle.
Well, Kevin, not to jump in here real quick, but we got to keep note of that. That's a timeout that may prove costly here as this game goes on. It's only a 3-point game.
Very good point. The clock is correct at 11:22. Vikings 17, Saints 14, and the Vikings break huddle. McKinney is in the backfield. McKinnon is in the backfield, and it is 1st and 10 with Case Keenum under center from the 34. He gets the snap. He drops back, screen pass to McKinnon on the 40, runs to the near sideline, the 35, and he's out of bounds. Let's see, down about the New Orleans 31, forced out of play by P.J. Williams on a gain of 3. The blocking kind of subsided. He gets down to the 31-yard line of the Saints.
Well, and the Vikings going to an up-tempo again, not huddling up, getting everybody at the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 7. Keenum under center from the 31. The snap, the spin, and the handoff to McKinnon. Breaks one tackle, running over the right tackle. Crosses the 35, and he got back down to the line of scrimmage, which was the 31 of New Orleans. Stuck right there. 3rd and 7 coming up for the Minnesota Vikings. Teo again makes the stop from the linebacking core for New Orleans. Our clock is at 10:42 and ticking in the 4th.
Keenum so far on 3rd down is 7 of 8 in passing on 3rd down. 5 of those 7 completions going for a 1st down. But you have to remember, first drive of the second half, he took the sack on 3rd down that took them out of field goal range. So he has to be smart here, knowing that he's already in field goal range.
Saints 31, 3rd and 7, shotgun snap, looking into 5, moving up. Keenum hit once, falling, throwing, incomplete as he tried to save the sack. It was a short pass that was in the vicinity of a crossing receiver who was Diggs at about the 35. Pressure up the middle. Looked like Cameron Jordan was there, the all-pro on the defensive line for the Saints. So now with the clock at 10:17 and stopped with the incomplete pass, the kicker Forbath is out there for Minnesota. And they will try a field goal, leading by 3 and trying to lead by 6. The ball will go down on the artificial surface at the 39. It will be a 49-yard field goal try. He missed earlier from 49. Ball put down. Right-footed kick is away to our right end over end, and it is good. But a challenge flag has been thrown by Sean Payton.
Sean Payton wants to see if his knee was down. Keenum held on to that ball a long time as he was getting brought to the ground. He was able to get that ball out to avoid the sack, or at least what was called an incompletion on the field. But Payton is saying that maybe his knee was down before getting rid of the ball.
They believe the quarterback's knee was down prior to throwing the forward pass.
Well, it's a good challenge if it works, certainly, because it would push them out of field goal range, perhaps.
Well, and what makes this very important is this is the last challenge that the Saints have for the game. They've already lost one timeout. As we get a chance to see the replay, it does appear,
I think the ball's away.
I think the ball's away. I think the ball is away. The first angle we had looked like his knee was down, but we got a different angle of it, and it appears that the ball was leaving his fingertips just before the knee coming down. So I don't think there's enough there to overturn it.
Like to remind you, join Kurt Warner and me each week for the Kurt Warner Quarterback Podcast. The Pro Football Hall of Famer and I break down what's happening under center in the NFL. New episodes available every Tuesday throughout the season. Subscribe today at iTunes or Google Play. 10-17 fourth quarter. It was 17-0 at halftime, the Vikings. Breeze has thrown 2 second-half touchdown passes. 1 of 14, 1 of 3, both to Michael Thomas. There's been a pick 2 of Case Keenum, and now we have a 3-point game. But the Vikings are moving again. And I think New Orleans is going to lose this challenge. What do you think?
I think they will also. I think, and that's going to be costly, because not only are they going to lose the second challenge in the last couple of plays here, but they're going to lose a second timeout, which, as we know, in a tight ball game in the fourth quarter, those are very valuable.
Well, there was a lot of talk in this game about how a first-time playoff quarterback in Case Keenum would handle the pressure. In the first half, he looked to handle it well. The game is much tighter now. You're going up against a Hall of Fame-to-be quarterback in Drew Brees, and arguably another division winner as good as you are. And now it's a 3-point game in the fourth quarter at home.
Well, and he's handled the pressure all season long when you consider what he's been under. Obviously, the shadows of Sam Bradford and Teddy Bridgewater being around, but he just continues to not blink, and that's why I wasn't surprised after throwing that interception. He came out and threw probably his best ball of the game. If you think that over-the-shoulder throw could be thrown any better, the one that he just hit Jarius right on for the first down to get him down into this field position, I'd be surprised if you can find a better way to throw that football. So I think he's responded very well.
Gene Steratore has conferred with New York.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The quarterback was not down by contact prior to releasing the forward pass. It's an incomplete pass. New Orleans is out of challenges. They also have one timeout remaining in the half.
So it is fourth down. Let's bring you back to where we were. The Vikings were going to try a 49-yard field goal. It was actually launched before we were able to kind of process things because the red challenge flag had been thrown before the snap by Minnesota for that 49-yard field goal, which was, by the way, good on the kick by Kai Forbath. So they'll do it again.
Well, and the thing I've been interested in, there's a lot of time that's gone by here. Kai Forbath has stayed out on the field this entire time. He didn't run over to the sideline, make some kicks into the net. He stayed out on the field. Yes, he's still going through the motions. He's still swinging his legs, still trying to stay loose. But I would thought with that length of time, maybe he would have gone and gotten a few kicks into the net. But as you said, he made the first one, so why mess with it, I guess? He has his routine.
Forbath will drop back. A 49-yard field goal try. Near hash on turf. Ball put down, high snap. The kick is up, and the kick will be good. And the Vikings extend their lead to 6 with 10-12 to play. With that field goal, Barbasol makes another donation to the Boomer Esiason Foundation dedicated to beating cystic fibrosis. Barbasol Premium Disposable Razors, quite possibly the best thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol. In snowy Minneapolis with 10-12 to play in the fourth quarter. The Vikings now lead it 20-14 over New Orleans. Let's step aside. This is Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. Vikings have got the ball teed up. And Kai Forbath will kick off again after his 49-yard field goal, which gives the Vikings a 6-point lead. At halftime, they led 17-0. Trent Green. Breeze has thrown a couple of second-half touchdown passes to get back in this one. The kickoff by Minnesota. End over end. Kamara back. Looks into the lights. Traps the ball against his chest. 3 yards deep in the end zone. Brings it on the hash mark, the 10. On the hash mark, the 20. On the hash mark, the 25. And he runs up on the hash mark to the 27-yard line of New Orleans. With a 30-yard return to the sideline and Laura Oakman.
As the Vikings defense takes the field, we already said Sendejo was ruled out. The good news is Xavier Rhodes is back in. He was in the blue tent, went out, but this entire last series he was pacing up and down the sideline. He's back out there. Mike Zimmer did get his secondary together, yelling at them, do your job, before they got out there.
Laura, thank you. Breeze is on his knee in the huddle. In the second half, he's gone 8 of 9. By the way, the Saints this season have 2 fourth-quarter comeback wins against Green Bay and Washington. The crowd on their feet and the white towels being waved high above their heads. Kamara in the backfield, Breeze to the line at his own 27 under center with the 1st and 10, 4-man front. The snap, spin handoff, Kamara over the guard. He's on the hash mark at the 25, on the hash mark to the 30, and picks up 3 and brought down by Barr. On a gain of 3 on first down, Trent Green by New Orleans.
Well, and they've been able to find that balance here. You talked about the success that Breeze is having throwing the ball in the second half. They're having great balance with the running game, the combination of Ingram and Kamara.
Fourth quarter clock ticking at 9:43. Second down, 7. The Saints are moving from right to left. Breeze is in the gun. 2 yards to his left is Ingram. The shotgun snap, rolls out of the pocket, cocks his arm, throws in the run. It's a two-handed helmet high catch by Ginn, close to a first down, far sideline at about the 36. He picks up 6 on 2nd and 7, bringing up 3rd and 1 for the New Orleans Saints at their own 36.
3rd and 1 in what is traditionally a running down, but you're going against the #1 rushing defense in the NFL at their home turf where the stadium is about to erupt. Do you try a play-action pass to catch him off guard, try and sneak somebody out in the flat? I would think that in this situation, they're going to try and throw the football and not go with the run.
3rd down and 1. Breeze under center. Kamara the back. Quick drop back. It's caught by Snead. He then winds up and throws a pass, a wide receiver pass, and it's incomplete. Downfield to Kamara. Snead threw it. Breeze threw it backwards, sideways, and backwards about 2 yards. And Snead was open to throw. Kamara was open to catch, but the pass was too long and incomplete. Down the far sideline. Some trickery by the Saints. It's 4th down. Here comes their punting unit.
There was a wide bunch formation to the left for Drew Brees. As you said, he took one step, threw it backwards to Snead. Snead had a wide open Kamara running down the outside right numbers. Could have been a touchdown. Definitely would have been a 1st down, but incomplete.
Morstead punting. Sherrills receiving the punt to our left for the Vikings at about the 10. The punter for the New Orleans Saints broke a rib earlier in the game but continues to punt. And the Vikings will get the ball. 8:59 to play in the 4th. Minnesota 20, New Orleans 14. You're listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One. Enter for a chance to win a new 2018 Ford F-150 with a custom NFL design and a VIP trip to Super Bowl 52. Visit NFL.com/toughest ticket to enter. No purchase necessary. Must be legal resident of the 50 United States or District of Columbia. 21 years of age or older to enter. Sweepstake ends 1/21/18. Go to NFL.com/toughest ticket for official rules. The Saints have just punted after they began the second half with 2 consecutive Breeze touchdown passes. But they've got the Vikings marooned at their 10. 8:59 to play in the 4th. Vikings led 17-0 at halftime. Now lead it 20-14. Keenum lines up. They're moving from left to right. Worst beginning field position tonight. Keenum under center with the 1st and 10 and a 4-man defensive front. He gets the snap and hands off to Murray over the left guard at the 10 on the hash mark. He spins and may have gotten to the 11. Let's give him a gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for Minnesota.
Well, Kevin, there's still a lot of time left in this football game. 8 minutes, 45 seconds. So if you're the Vikings, you can't get into the mode where we're just going to try and work this clock and get it to work down. You've still got to be in the attack mode. Even though you're backed up at your own goal line, you still got to be in attack mode because you want to keep that field position in your favor and not give Drew Brees a short field.
2nd down and 9 from their own 11. Keenum under center, fakes the up, drops back. He's hit. He breaks a tackle, staggers ahead. Long line drive down the far sideline. No one home, incomplete. There's no yellow. Or was there a flag across the way? There was. Late. I think it's against New Orleans. I think it's against the Saints.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 23. 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
On Marshawn Lattimore, the rookie in that will negate what was a nice pass rush by that Saints defense, but the penalty against him gives new life here on this drive to Minnesota.
No, and I know Gene Steratore said 23 Lattimore. I think it was more 20 Crawley. He was in coverage on Stephon Diggs, who was lined up to the right of Case Keenum. Keenum comes off the hard play fake and trying to get the deep crossing route, but Crawley just reaches around the waist of Stephon Diggs and pulls him back and then ultimately trips him and he goes down to the field. So I think that call should have been on Crawley.
Vikings 16 now, 1st and 10. Keenum in the gun by himself. Shotgun snap, drops back 3, short pass up the middle, incomplete. His receiver was right. The coverage by P.J. Williams. It was floating right over the hash mark downfield and incomplete about the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, Keenum wasn't able to step into that throw the way he has been because the pocket was collapsing and he took a big hit right as he threw that football. It was an open play, open receiver going down the right seam, right up the inside edge of the right numbers. Had he been able to step into that throw more accurately, it would have been a big gain.
Keenum breaks huddle. His first playoff game tonight, and they lead at 20-14, 8:18 to play. Here in the 4th, 2nd down, 10. He's under center from his own 16, single back. 4 on the line, the snap, the spin. And it's a handoff to McKinnon over the left tackle. He got it at the 15. He's on the numbers and near the 20-yard line. And he picks up 5 on a nice burst over the left tackle. And that'll make it 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Minnesota Vikings. And Trent, the 4th quarter just now passing 8 minutes and ticking.
Well, and I like the aggressiveness that the Vikings have shown. I talked to them about being by their goal line, and they want to stay aggressive. They tried 2 big plays up the field. They haven't worked out. One was a penalty, got them a first down. The second one they didn't get the completion on because of the pressure in the pocket.
3rd and 5, shotgun snap to Keenum from his own 21. Throws a short pass on a cross. It's caught by Diggs, 25 near side, 30, 35 up the near sideline. He got a block on the play and then belts it out of bounds at the 42-yard line of Minnesota. Running well in front of his own bench, hit by Bush. And a catch and run of 20 yards on 3rd and 5 for the Vikings. They keep it alive, and the clock, they say, continues to tick. Now it's 7:30 here in the 4th. Vikings lead by 6.
Well, and the Vikings catch the Saints in man-to-man defense. They bring pressure that time. They blitz, so it's man-to-man across the board. Crawley is one-on-one with Stephon Diggs running a drag route from left to right. He has to make 2 defenders miss as he's trying to work through the different routes and not able to keep up as the Vikings get the first down.
Viking 43, 1st and 10. Keenum under center with a handoff, and he gives off to Murray, running over the left tackle and then stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. Second down and 10.
And Kevin, that first down was huge that Stephon Diggs just got, because not only does it move the ball out closer towards midfield, so now you're working the field position game, but now you get another set of downs, so you're going to keep that clock running, keep that clock ticking. And I know it's still too early to be worried about that, but you have to remember the Saints, with those 2 missed replays, lost 2 timeouts, so only 1 is left as this second half, or this final part of the game, winds down.
At their 43-yard line, 2nd down and 10. Shotgun snap to Keenum. Throws a quick pass outside 40-yard line. Caught by Diggs. Got a block at the 50 down the far sideline. First down, catch and run into Saints territory. Takes it down to the New Orleans 45. Picks up 11 on 2nd down and 10. Stephon Diggs has come up big. A flag has been thrown. The hit by Marcus Williams. Let's see if maybe a bad block by the Vikings will negate that play. Vikings seem to think it's on their offense. They're walking back to the line of scrimmage from moments ago. Gene's territory.
Illegal block in the back.
Yep.
Offense number 82. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, 2nd down.
That's Kyle Rudolph with 6:29 to play in the 4th, and Minnesota leading 20-14 over New Orleans.
Well, and that's a huge penalty, because it would have been a first down into Saints territory, but instead of the first down in territory, it ends up, what's it going to be now? 2nd and 18.
2nd and 18, spot foul. Vikings break huddle, moving left to right. With the ball now back at the Minnesota 34. Keenum in the gun, 5 wide. And he's by himself back there. 4 in the defensive line for the Saints, 5 in the secondary. Shotgun snap, Keenum sets, and a right-handed short throw up the middle, and it's caught by Thielen. Hits the deck as he caught it with his chest at about the 39, hit by Teo. Down he goes, picking up 5. Now it'll be 3rd down and about 13, and the clock at 6 minutes and ticking here in the 4th, with the Vikings leading by 6 points.
Well, and Stephon Diggs has 3 catches on 3rd down, all of them going for first down, so keep your attention placed on him. I know the Saints, with the 3rd and 13, you would think they're going to play zone and drop back and try and keep the catch in front of them, come up and make the tackle. They've shown some aggressiveness with their blitzing, but I would think on this down and distance, they're going to drop back in zone.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 13. Vikings at their 40. Shotgun snap. Keenum throws a long arching spiral far sideline, incomplete. A leaping attempt. It was going for Thielen, covered by the rookie Lattimore. Vikings think there was pressure. There was hitting before the play. There is no penalty flag. It is 4th down, and the Vikings have got a punt, and the rookie holds the all-pro wide receiver Thielen to a pass which admittedly was very high and almost uncatchable.
It was a double move by Thielen, a post corner trying to get to the outside, and it does appear on replay that Lattimore was a tick early as he goes up and rips the left arm of Adam Thielen away from the football, so not getting a chance, and you can hear the reaction of the crowd as well as they see the replay on the big board.
Quigley will punt for Minnesota from left to right. It's a low snap. He gets it. Oh, there was a ton of pressure. The punter goes down. There is no yellow. The punt is away. The pressure was there, and it's out of bounds. What a horrible punt.
The ball got tipped, and it ended up getting blocked and recovered by the Saints. It was spinning up in the air, and one of the Saints...
It went straight up, and it went forward about 10 yards, and it was retrieved by New Orleans.
Normally, if you're the punting team or you're the punt return team and there's any kind of block whatsoever, you get away from it, because if you touch it, across the line and all of a sudden lose the football, then the Vikings could have got that recovery, but instead the Saints were able to secure the ball, and now they have great starting field position at the Minnesota 40.
So the ball traveled only a handful of yards. It was retrieved at the 40-yard line of Minnesota, and Breeze will have it there. It'll be 1st and 10, down by 6, 5:21 to go. Breeze in the gun. Gets the snap, fakes the handoff, drops back to throw, cocks his arm, looks long. Here comes the pressure, forced from the pocket, runs to the numbers, runs to the sideline, throws. It's a belt-high catch, 30-yard line. It's made by Ginn. He then takes it down to about the 30. Well, they're going to put it at the 25-yard line of Minnesota. 15-yard catch and run. Ginn with great scrambling by Breeze, and a first down for New Orleans.
Wow, and I don't know how holding wasn't called on that play. It was it seemed like pretty obvious holding as they had Hunter wrapped up around the neck, and no flag was made. Breeze gets to the outside, makes an incredible throw. I don't know how it's not tipped away at the end, because he threw it right through the arms of two defenders, able to get the catch and the first down.
From the 25 of Minnesota, 1st and 10, here's the snap to Breeze. He throws to Ginn, a belt-high catch at the 16-yard line of Minnesota. Brought down on the play by Waynes, a pickup of 9. Ginn has caught 2 in a row. And he's got a second down coming up and short with a good throw there. And Breeze looks under control. The clock is ticking at 4:15.
What a crazy turn of events there with that shank of a punt. And it looks like it was partially blocked, went up in the air. Great field position for the Saints. And then now they're able to get this ball down inside the 20.
Second down 1 inside the 16 of Minnesota. There's the snap to Breeze, the handoff, and it goes to Ingram, who trips and falls running over the guard, crosses the 15-yard line, picks up a yard, gets as far as the 14. Griffin brings him down. That should be enough, though, for a first down for New Orleans. With the clock ticking still at 3:37, 3:36. The Saints are down by 6.
Ingram did, as he was cutting back, ended up slipping and falling, but nobody touched him, so he was able to gain or get back to his feet and get enough yardage for the first down.
14-yard line of Minnesota. Breeze breaks a huddle. He'll be in the gun, flanked by Kamara. First down and 10. 14-yard line of the Vikings. 4-man front. Breeze looks over the defense. Brings his hands to his mouth. Shotgun snap. Drops back 5. Cocks his right arm. Throws an arching pass into the end zone. A leaping, backpedaling touchdown catch. Kamara heavily covered. Touchdown New Orleans. 14-yard touchdown throw to the rookie running back Kamara. Breeze has tied this game at 20 with 3:01 to go. And the place is stunned. What a great catch by Kamara on the side of the end zone with a backpedaling, leaping, two-handed grab, falling down and holding onto the ball.
Well, and the Vikings decide to bring pressure. They blitz, so that goes man-to-man coverage, safety in the middle of the field as your robber. Drew Brees recognizes he's got Kamara one-on-one with Eric Kendricks, the linebacker. That's a matchup you'll take every time.
Here's the extra point for the lead. It is good for the first time. The Saints take a lead, 21-20, down 17-0 at halftime. 21-20 New Orleans, 3:01 to go. There's a break in the action. Let's take you to this break. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One.
I know, but I thought his body got hit, which caused the punt to go up. I don't know if the ball got hit.
How forward did it go? About 5 or 10 yards?
Yeah, it did get hit.
Here's the kickoff, and New Orleans will boot to Minnesota. And taken by Sherrills, who will catch it against his chest 5 yards deep in the end zone. We're talking about the block punt, which they were at the far end of the field. We are in the end zone and about 7 stories up. And so
right.
we both saw that there was heavy pressure, but it took a while to figure out that it was not just a bad punt, it was just blocked.
And we thought maybe it was the contact with the punter that, as his body turned around, that's what caused the shank to happen and the ball to float up in the air. We didn't see the contact, but there was contact with the football. It fluttered The Saints ended up recovering, giving themselves great field position, but now the Vikings have to go down trailing by 1 with 3 minutes left in this game.
So the touchback brings it to the Viking 25. Keenum is in the gun, flanked by a back. He's got 3 wide. 4 in the defensive line for the Saints will come charging. Keenum taking a lot of time at the line. They trail now by 1 and trail for the first time today. Shotgun snap on 1st and 10, short pass up the middle. It's caught by Rudolph with the two-handed grab on the hash mark at the 28, right in front of his chest. And he picks up on the play about 5. So 2nd down and 5, shy of the Viking 30. The clock is continuing to tick at 2:45, and Minnesota trails by 1.
Well, and there's still plenty of time. As you said, 2:45, now under 2:40, but you still have your timeouts if you're the Vikings, all 3 of them. Just take your time, remain calm. You have to go down and try and get in the field goal range.
2nd down about 5, back to pass is Keenum. He's pressured once, he breaks 1 tackle, breaks another tackle, now he runs inside the numbers, the 30, runs to the 34-yard line, hit by Teo, picks up 4, 3rd and 1 coming up. So he had to weave, and great coverage by the secondary of New Orleans, and the clock is at 2:13 and ticking. The Saints have come back and now lead by 1.
Well, and that's why the fans in Minnesota love Case Keenum. It's just because of that attitude and just never quit on the play. And
3rd and 1. Here is a handoff to McKinnon, who will go over the left guard and get the first down. Trent crossing the 35. He gets to the 36. He picks up 2. That takes us to the 2-minute warning. So the Vikings are on the move. They've got 3 timeouts, but they're down by 1 and trailing for the first time today. 2-minute warning from Minneapolis. 21-20, the Saints lead. You're listening to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. Vikings have led the entire game until Drew Brees just threw a 3-yard touchdown pass and a 14-yard touchdown pass and another 14-yard touchdown pass to take a lead. They were down 17-0 at halftime. They lead it now 21-20. 2 minutes to play. Vikings have the ball. They have 3 timeouts. And Trent, they've got the ball at their own 36. Kai Forbath, by the way, his career-long 57 yards a couple years ago at Houston.
I was just sitting here listening to you talk about Drew Brees' numbers. The first half, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The second half, he's got the 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and now has the Saints in the lead at the 2-minute warning.
Keenum is in the gun from his own 36, a 4-man rush, and he goes back to pass on 1st and 10. Cocks his right arm, pressure there, moves up. His jersey held, he throws incomplete. At about the 50-yard line, he was looking downfield for Jarius Wright on a crossing pattern. It was short, it was incomplete. It's 2nd down and 10 for Minnesota.
Well, and I like the fact that the Vikings are staying aggressive. I just don't know. On this play, they had 3 receivers all further than 30 yards down the field, and there was nowhere for Keenum to check the ball down to. So as you're hanging on to the ball that long, looking down the field, it'd be nice to have an outlet underneath. That's where they've had a lot of their success, Kevin, is with Stephon Diggs running that drag route underneath when things aren't open up the field.
2nd down and 10, Keenum in the gun. 6 in the secondary for the New Orleans Saints from the Minnesota 36. Low shotgun snap around his shin. He picks it up. The pocket crumbles. He throws a wobbly arching pass down the near side. It's a leaping two-headed, falling down catch by Thielen at the 40-yard line. A flag has been thrown. They're into Saints territory. A 24-yard Hail Mary with double coverage on Thielen, who leapt high and brought it down on the near sideline at the 40. But let's see about that flag, which is thrown at the 50.
Well, they're going to get Lattimore with either pass interference, holding, or both. But what an incredible catch by Thielen. He's running a deep corner route.
Against the defense. Prior to the pass holding, defense number 23. That penalty is declined. We also have pass interference defense, number 23. That is also declined, and the result of the play is a completed catch and a first down.
We've seen some missed field goals, by the way, in Minneapolis by the Vikings in the playoffs. Gary Anderson, remember, famously years ago in the late 90s. Blair Walsh a couple years ago against Seattle. And right now the Vikings look like they're setting up for that field goal with the clock in the 4th at 1:47, and they're trailing by 1.
Well, in case Keenum on that play was under pressure, threw that ball off his back foot into coverage. Thielen able to jump up and get it. It's incredible throw, incredible catch, and putting the Vikings in position to where a few more yards they can attempt this field goal.
From the 40 of New Orleans, shotgun snap, 1st and 10. Quick slant, low, uncatchable for Thielen, cutting about 5 yards downfield. The coverage by Lattimore. Thielen was trying to get one that was down around his shoestrings, bent over, incomplete, 35-yard line of New Orleans. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Vikings. Only a couple seconds off the clock. Minnesota 3 timeouts. Saints have 1. New Orleans leads it 21-20.
Well, and if they don't get another yard, it would be a 58-yard attempt. So I don't know if you want to try running the football here, keep that clock moving a little bit, get a few extra yards. Do you try getting some pass going? They've had effectiveness not only tonight but throughout the entire season with play-action pass, but they go empty set here. Everybody's out.
Keenum will empty the backfield in the shotgun, 2nd and 10. A quick throw to the near sideline. Belt high catch made by the tight end, and that is Rudolph at about the 35-yard line of New Orleans. Near sideline. Hit on the play by Robertson. Gain of 5 on the play by the tight end on the quick throw, and a catch on the near sideline for Minnesota.
Well, and as you said, Kevin, it's a pickup of 5 yards, so as of right now, it would be a 53-yard attempt. The problem here now is if you don't get the first down, then you're going to give the ball back to Drew Brees with a lot of time left.
3rd and 5, shotgun snap. He's pressured. Keenum throws off his back foot down the sideline, broken up at about the 13-yard line of New Orleans, looking for the double-covered tight end Rudolph. Incomplete down the near side. It's 4th down, and here comes the field goal unit for the Minnesota Vikings with 1:34 to go.
Well, and first and foremost, you need to make this field goal. That goes without saying. And the fans are upset that there wasn't pass interference there because Rudolph was coming back for the football and not allowed to come back for the football. I thought it was a good no call, but you have to make this field goal. But in turn, you're going to give Drew Brees about a minute 30.
53-yard try. Forbath has had one blocked. Near side hash. Good snap. Ball put down. Right-footed kick for the lead is up. It is up. It is caught! 53 yards for the lead. Vikings on top, 23-21 with 1:29 to go. But Drew Brees has a timeout and a minute and a half with which to work.
Well, and Drew Brees has had 31 drives in fourth quarter and overtime to go down and win games. You mentioned earlier he's got 2 this season, but 31 throughout his career, so the Vikings defense is going to have to step up now.
Your favorite NFL stars compete in an AFC versus NFC matchup at the 2018 Pro Bowl Sunday, January 28th, 3 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN, ABC, and right here on Westwood One. Don't miss the Pro Bowl Skills Showdown on Thursday, January 25th, 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The Vikings have just gotten a 53-yard field goal from Kai Forbath to take the lead. The ensuing kickoff from left to right, end over end, and Kamara will make the catch 7 yards deep in the end zone, belt high, and go to a knee and a touchback to the 25. 1:29 to go. Brees will come marching out onto the field. He's got a timeout, and he's down by 2.
Kevin, you and I were sitting here at halftime, a 17-0 game. We never would have thought with a minute 29 it would be a 2-point game. Drew Brees having a chance, the future Hall of Famer, to go down and put them in position to try and get the win on the road here in Minnesota.
Brees comes out, wiping his hand on the side of his black pants, huddling his team, and the crowd now, not a single person is sitting, waving the white towels, most clad in something purple. The noise is deafening, and Brees will face that avalanche of noise at his own 25. Brings his hands to his mouth. He's in the gun, 5 wide, 1st and 10 from his 25, looking into the nickel. Shotgun snap. Drops back, cocks his arm, throws down the sideline, incomplete. Looking for Thomas. He was near midfield on the near sideline, lunging and diving for a ball in front of the Vikings bench, incomplete. Brees had hit his last 9 straight passes. 2nd down and 10 for New Orleans.
Well, and that's not real shocking to think that Drew Brees is going to try going deep on the first play. See if he can't get the Vikings off guard. The fact that he's trying to throw a 30, 40-yard throw down the left sideline, not able to come up with the completion.
2nd down, 10. Brees by himself and 5 wide. 4 on the defensive line for Minnesota. Shotgun snap, drops back 5, sets, throws a pass down the middle. It's a backpedaling 2 and a catch by the tight end Hill on the hash mark. He got the ball at about the 43-yard line in New Orleans, an 18-yard grab and a 1st down. The clock continues to tick. 1:10, 1:09, 1:08. Brees assembling the team at the line of scrimmage. His own 43. It's 1st and 10. He's in the gun. Surveys the defense. Shotgun snap. Throws to the far side, wobbly throw, 2-handed helmet eye catch by Ginn. He's got the 1st down, caught the ball at the 50, angles his way to the far sideline, gets to the 47-yard line of Minnesota. 11-yard throw. It's a first down. The clock is stopped at 55 seconds.
A lot of confusion to that side of the field for the Vikings. Not everybody was set. Mackenzie Alexander was in the game, and some confusion as to who he was going to cover, and then as he's going to make a cut, he slips and falls, so that allows a wide-open receiver who catches the ball around the numbers to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Breeze by himself in the gun, 1st and 10 from the Viking 46. Low shotgun snap, quick throw across the middle, broken up, incomplete. On a cross at the 40, looking for Thomas. The diving Xavier Rhodes knocked the ball away, incomplete. 2nd down, 10 for the New Orleans Saints, who trail by 2 and 53 seconds to play in the 4th.
Incredible play by Xavier Rhodes, getting that left arm out in front of Thomas and knocking the ball away on the inside slant from right to left.
2nd down, 10. Breeze breaks huddle, wipes his hands on the towel off his front belt. He's got 3 receivers to one side, 2 on the other. 5 in the secondary for Minnesota. Breeze with hand signals to all the receivers. 2nd down, 10 from the 46 of the Vikings. Winds up long pass, far side incomplete. A twisting and turning receiver could not get his gloved hand on the ball on the far sideline. That was the lunging and leaping Michael Thomas. Incomplete at the 30. 3rd and 10 for the New Orleans Saints, trailing by 2. 49 seconds to play in the 4th.
Well, it's interesting to see some of the adjustments that the Vikings have been going to defensively. Kamara that time lines up all the way on the outside with Thomas on the inside slot. They put Harrison Smith one-on-one with Kamara to the outside. They earlier had been putting Eric Kendricks one-on-one with him, so that time make an adjustment, putting Harrison Smith, who's a better coverage player than Kendricks is.
Breeze in the gun by himself, 3rd and 10 from the 46 of Minnesota. Shotgun snap. He looks and throws a line drive, far sideline, leaping, attempted catch through the hands of Thomas. Double covered on the play, but Xavier Rhodes was the primary man, and he gets right in front of the great second-year receiver out of Ohio State for the Saints. On the far sideline, the ball through his gloved hands. It's incomplete. There's 45 seconds to play. The Saints have a timeout, and they've got 4th and 10 staring them in the eye.
Michael Thomas has had a tremendous first couple years in the NFL. 3 plays in a row, Drew Brees has gone to him. 3 plays in a row, Xavier Rhodes was covering him, and 3 plays in a row, Xavier Rhodes made the play to knock it away as we come to 4th down.
Brees has a word with Kamara, who is right in the gun. From the 46, 4th and 10. Shotgun snap, drops back 5, cocks his arm, throws a pass near side, caught by Snead, near side, and it was caught at the 33-yard line of Minnesota. 13-yard pickup. Snead grabs the ball just high. It's a first down for the New Orleans Saints. 40 seconds to go.
And that's all on Mackenzie Alexander, who's playing the left slot, one-on-one with Snead. He's got help over the top. It's a 2-man coverage. You have help with the safeties over the top. You have help underneath. All you have to do is prevent that big game from happening, but that's exactly what Snead does. He pushes it up 10 yards, give him a nod to the inside, gets to the outside. Easy completion for Breeze for the first down on 4th down.
33 of Minnesota in the gun, 1st and 10. Clock with 40 seconds left. Shotgun snap, quick throw, far sideline, over the shoulder catch again. Out of bounds at the 29 of Minnesota. He picks up 4, effectively stops the clock. 37 seconds to go. The Vikings lead it by 2, and Breeze is surgically moving his offense downfield for New Orleans.
It's incredible the throw that he made on 4th down. With that pressure, 3 throws in a row had been knocked away by the defense by Xavier Rhodes. Instead, on 4th down, he decides to go to Willie Snead, who's one-on-one with Alexander. Easily beats him to get the first down. You have to remember, Kevin, the Saints still have 1 timeout, so they don't have to keep working the boundary. They can work the middle of the field as well.
2nd down, 6. Breeze by himself in the gun from the 29 of Minnesota. Looks into the nickel, shotgun snap, quick throw, sidearm throw, and a diving catch made about the 23-yard line and grabbed by Thomas. Hit by Harrison Smith at about the 24. It's a gain of 5. On the far sideline, the tumbling catch puts him at the 24 and about a yard shy of a first. The clock is at 30 seconds. The Saints are moving downfield. They trail by 2. They're going to put 3 more seconds on the clock. A timeout has been taken by the Vikings. Their defense exhausted. They're down to 2 timeouts left.
Well, and the Vikings just trying to save whatever time there may be. So if they are able to stop them here on 3rd down, I'm sure they'll use another timeout to try and give themselves 30 seconds.
We're going to review the previous play.
to see if the tumbling and diving second-year receiver Michael Thomas actually held onto that ball in the dive on the far sideline in front of his own bench for New Orleans. I think he's got the ball trapped against his belly as he was going and somersaulting on the far sideline. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves coast to coast and around the world. This is Westwood One, your home for the NFL playoffs in Super Bowl 52. Trent Green, you've taken a look at the replay. It would be a minimal gain, but again, another chunk that they can get closer for the kicker, Will Lutz, who is working on the sideline on his stroke on the far sideline for the Saints. Do you think it was a catch?
You know, it looks like from one angle that the ball slipped through his hands and may have touched the turf in between his legs, but whether or not he had the ball secure, you can't really see from the angle. So because there's that indecision, that indecisiveness, because it was called a catch on the field, what we've seen throughout the course of this season is if there's not enough to overturn it, you're going to stay with the call on the field. So I think they're going to keep it as a catch. Although you can see there is an angle where the ball does graze the ground. It's just you can't see if the ball moves when it does hit the ground. So I don't think there's enough to overturn it.
Breeze has had some terrific throws, a controlled passing game for sure to work his way from the 25-yard line with 1:29 left. The 10th play of the drive is upcoming. Minutes ago, we had a 53-yard Viking field goal, which put them on top 23-21.
Ruling on the field stands. There's a completed catch. Third down, 1.5, New Orleans.
So 33 seconds remain. The Saints are at the 24 of the Minnesota Vikings, trailing by 2. And the air has been let out of this building. You can feel the disappointment. They're trying to rev up a little bit of noise as Breeze breaks huddle. He'll be under center with a 3rd down and 1 from the 24 Minnesota. The snap, the spin, the handoff to Kamara. Runs over the right guard. They were just positioning, it looks like here, for the field goal try. No gain on the play. The clock is stopped at 29 seconds. A timeout taken by Minnesota, which will leave them with 1. So it was 17-0 at halftime. The Vikings led. And then Breeze came out and fired 3 touchdown passes of 14 yards to Thomas, of 3 yards to Thomas, and then a 14 yards to Kamara on what was a heavily covered but terrific touchdown reception by the rookie running back to make it 21-20 Saints. A 53-yard field goal minutes ago by Minnesota put them back on top by 2. Now here is New Orleans. And a chance because of Breeze. They've worked their way downfield. The field goal unit is out there. And Will Lutz will try a 43-yard field goal. In between the hash marks. Holding is Morstead with the broken rib. The ball put down. The kick is up, arching up, and good! The Saints have gone up on top. Lutz from 43. 24-23 New Orleans with 25 seconds to go. Our 3rd fourth-quarter lead change. What a game in Minneapolis tonight.
Well, what a way to wrap up divisional weekend here with the playoffs. And you've mentioned it. You just read through the whole thing that took place in the second half for the Saints to take this lead by 1 point. But there are 25 seconds left. The Vikings still possess 1 timeout. So there is an opportunity. If they don't get a return, they're still going to have all 25 seconds. If they decide to bring it out, that's going to use up a good 7-8 seconds of clock. That 1 timeout, you can try and take a shot to get the ball near midfield or even get into field goal range if you want to try a long one on your own. So don't go away just yet.
How about Drew Brees? I mean, he's just, we know he's going to be in Canton someday, but tonight he's in Minneapolis, and he has played not the greatest game of his career, but a game that never waved the white flag when they were down at halftime, 17-0. The kickoff by New Orleans is taken on a knee by Sherrills in the end zone to our left. So the Vikings will have 25 seconds and 1 timeout, as Trent said, as they begin from their 25. And Case Keenum in his first playoff game will trudge back out there for the Minnesota offense. He's 24 of 37 for 238, no touchdowns, and he's been picked off once.
Well, just think of the drive he had with under 2 minutes to go down and get the lead just the second ago at 23-21. He made some tremendous throws in that. They're going to need some more of that here in the final few seconds.
On his 25, he's in the shotgun with 4-1. He looks into the nickel. Body's moving. The ball was not snapped, and flags are thrown and whistles are blown.
Ball start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's the left guard, Remmers. Second time he's been called tonight for a penalty. 1st and 15 now. Back at the 20.
Well, and every little bit matters at this point in time.
Sure
this juncture of the game. That's a huge 5 yards.
Vikings break huddle going left to right. Now at their 20-yard line, in the gun, 1st and 15. 6 back there in the secondary for New Orleans, dropping back in the gun. Keenum throws near side, belt high catch made on the numbers 38-yard line. It's grabbed right there by Diggs, held. He's trying to break away. The tackle was made by Robertson. It's a 19-yard pickup. The clock at 17 seconds. And the Vikings have just used their final timeout. So the pass not to the sideline, but rather to the numbers. In fact, inside the numbers to Diggs, who makes the grab of 19. Now the clock is at 18, and you're out of timeouts. You had to stop it there.
Well, it was interesting to see the defense that the Saints had presented. They had 4 defensive linemen rushing the quarterback. Then they rest the other 7 defenders. The closest one to the line of scrimmage was at 10 yards. They had 5 defenders lined up at 10 yards across the field, and then with 2 safeties even behind them. So double defenders near the boundaries to keep them in bounds. So the only spot open was the middle of the field. That's where Keenum took it.
Keenum in the gun. He's got a 1st and 10. Shotgun snap from his own 39. Winds up, throws a line drive pass to the near side, incomplete. Overshoots his receiver, who is Rudolph, at about the 47-yard line near side, in front of his own bench. Incomplete, double covered on the play. 2nd down and 10, and the clock at 14 seconds to play. With New Orleans leading by 1, they just got a long field goal to take the lead.
Well, they were attempting to do a layered route along this right sideline for Case Keenum, and Rudolph was going to the flat at about 8 to 10 yards. Diggs was clearing things out on a go route, and then they were trying to get right on a corner route, and he got knocked down as he was making his cut.
It's 2nd down and 10.
3rd and final charge timeout. New Orleans. 30-second timeout.
Saints had 1 timeout. Remember, they did not use it on that drive orchestrated by Breeze. They use it now. With the clock at 14 seconds, they want to get the shorts on straight defensively. With the 2nd and 10 coming up for the Vikings, who trail by 1. The winner goes to the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia next week against the Eagles.
And Kevin, with only 14 seconds left, if you throw this ball of any distance down the field and don't get out of bounds, I don't think you can get all the linemen and everybody up to the line of scrimmage and get that ball spiked. I don't think with just 14 seconds left, you can run down. If you get let's say you get a 15, 20-yard gain in the field of play, I just don't see how you can come up and get the ball spiked.
They need about 22 yards for a field goal attempt, you would think. 2nd down and 10. From their own 39, moving left to right. In the gun, 4 wide. 6 in the secondary for the Saints. Case Keenum gets the belt high shotgun snap. Sets in the pocket. He's hit as he throws. It's a pass to the far side, incomplete from McKinnon. The coverage by Bush. It was a short pass, and it was incomplete on the far side in front of the Saints bench at about the 44. It's 3rd and 10. The clock with 10 seconds to play. The Saints lead 24-23 on a 43-yard field goal moments ago by Lutz.
Well, Keenum just didn't have time. He was trying to stand in there as long as he could and try and get the throw away. He was under pressure, got knocked to the ground just as he was making the throw. So only 10 seconds left. You have to get out of bounds. There's no way you can get the ball spiked.
It's 3rd down and 10. Keenum is in the gun from his 39. 4-man front, 6 in the secondary. Shotgun snap. He moves up. He throws a long line drive on the near side. Leaping to hand. Catch made. It's made by, oh my goodness. It's going to go in for the touchdown. Grab by Diggs. He broke a tackle. 61-yard touchdown throw. The Vikings have won. The Minnesota Vikings have won.
I can't believe what I just saw, Kevin. I cannot believe the Saints decided to try and knock and keep him in bounds as as they were trying to tackle Diggs to get him to keep in the field of play, they took a poor angle, and Diggs, instead of spinning to the outside to get out of bounds, he spins to the inside, puts his hand on the ground so he doesn't go to the ground. Marcus Williams, the rookie safety, who's had a tremendous year, he goes low to try and keep him in the field of play. Diggs spins around, puts that hand on the ground, and is able to continue and get it for the touchdown. I can't believe what we just saw. And there is penalties on the ground because of what happened in the end zone.
Diggs did not step out of bounds. He vaulted off his outstretched arm, making a spectacular leaping two-handed grab. And then he raced down the sideline and he took it in for the touchdown. Unbelievable play. 4 lead changes in the final 3 minutes. And the Minnesota Vikings have won it 29-24 over the New Orleans Saints.
Neither team deserves to lose this game, Kevin. It was a tremendously fought game, especially in the second half by the Saints. Just a back and forth. You mentioned all the lead changes in the fourth quarter. Well, I'm just sitting here shaking my head. I can't believe that Diggs was able to get his hand on the ground and spin and stay in bounds and get up the field. What an incredible play by Diggs, and one that Marcus Williams, the rookie safety, will be thinking about at least the rest of this offseason, if not the rest of his career.
I don't think the crowd can absorb and process what they've just seen.
We're having a hard time processing what we've just seen.
Let's go down to the field in Laura Oakman. The Vikings have won. They're going to the NFC Championship.
You're having a hard time processing. Let me ask Latavius Murray, how have you processed this just now?
I can't believe it, man. This is why you play football. I mean, I'm just speechless. A lot of emotions right now, but, that's the way we played all year, is just keep fighting. Don't give up. 25 seconds left. We say, hey, we're going to go down and give ourselves a chance to hit a field goal, but we come up with a big touchdown instead.
I talked to you earlier in the week, and you told me how much this team believes in Case Keenum and how much you have loved rallying with him. What was said with you guys when you started that final drive?
You know what? He just said, hey, let's just go down here and win this thing. That's all that had to be said. We've been doing it all year. Case said, look, let's just go beat Minnesota. Let's go beat the Vikings. Let's not beat anybody else.
You said you have so much emotion. I know you talked about this. You are having so much fun this year and how unselfish this offense has been. What did you learn about this team today?
I mean, I just learned that, it's really, really true. You just talk about, if you just see the emotions on every guy on the sideline, I don't think I ever told Stephon how much I loved him. Maybe 100 times just now when I went and ran down there. But I love this team, and I'm happy to be going to Philly with them.
And this stadium is going crazy right now. How does it feel to bring this to this town?
They mean everything. So we need to get one more for them. Hopefully, I know they'll travel well to Philly. So we need one more so we can bring this thing home for sure.
Most important thing you need to do, I know you have not even thought about Philly till you just said them. The most important thing you guys need to do to bring it home next week
is to remain us, just like Kay said on that last drive. We don't need to be anybody different. Let's just continue to do what we do, and let's go out here and keep fighting to the whistle.
Congratulations. Congratulations, and good luck next weekend.
Thank you. Big hug for you.
Guys, back up to you.
That was Latavius Murray of the victorious Minnesota Vikings, who win it 29-24. They're going to the NFC Championship game, and for visiting with Laura, Latavius Murray will receive a gift card from Morton's The Steakhouse. Celebrate your next special occasion with Morton's The Steakhouse. Morton's is the prime place to take your special someone for that perfect steak and an unrivaled dining experience. Visit Mortons.com for reservations.
Nobody's leaving, Kevin. This whole stadium. Look at everybody. They're staying here. I think they're in such shock of what we all just saw. That's incredible.
61-yard touchdown pass. There is, I think, some time left on the clock. By rule, they have to do the extra point. So they have to bring the kicker And the PAT crew for the Vikings out there, by rule, they've got to kick the PAT.
My guess is they have the offensive line and Keenum and all those guys out there. I think they're just going to snap the ball and take a knee. The Saints are gone. There's not a Saints player or coach on the field.
As they clear
So they're clearing the field. I think
the media.
I think they're just going to take a knee, and this is one of those crazy rules that
I'm not sure that they need.
Right. I mean, you understand it because on an extra point, you can actually return an extra point and get 2 points.
Yes.
So that's why they do it. But
here it's a 5-point game.
It's a 5-point game.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
There's got to be a common sense thing that takes over at some point in time.
So Stephon Diggs caught a pass on the sideline, raced down the sideline after he had shed a couple of defenders for the Saints that were covering him. He almost fell. He kept his balance. He vaulted off his outstretched arm, and then he raced down the sideline. It happened so quickly, you really couldn't believe, as Trent just said, you couldn't believe what you just saw. But see it we did, and the Vikings have won. We're going to try this extra point. You got to bring some Saints players out. And sure enough, they're going to bring some. By rule, they've got to have players on the field. And of all the players that have come out, here comes the punter Morstead, who's got a broken rib, who broke it early in the game and still punted.
They probably said, okay, what 11 guys still have their pads on?
Yep.
We just need 11 guys to run out there and stand. And that you pretty much have a mix of that. You have some backup linemen. You have a couple special teams players. You have, looks like maybe a defensive lineman, a linebacker. You've got a mix of guys that are trying to come out. Let's see. There's going to be 8 Saints players out on the field, and I think they're just going to go with 8.
Four lead changes in the final 3 minutes. Breeze finishes 25 of 40 for 294, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks. Keenum, his only touchdown pass. Yep, they just go to a knee. They don't even kick it. Our score stays 29-24. That is officially the final. The Vikings win it by 5. Keenum throws a 61-yard touchdown pass, most of it run after the catch, as Diggs was able to run the route on the sideline and then flew down the sideline after he caught it.
Well, and I can understand the angle that Williams is trying to take. He's trying to make the tackle inbounds so that the time runs out. Who would ever think that Diggs is going to spin to the inside? You would think he's going to spin outside to try and get out of bounds. Instead, he lands, spins to the inside, avoids the tackle, and is aware enough to put that right arm down, keep his balance, not go to the ground, and finish the play for a touchdown. So a couple of crazy things happening there at the end, but I'm glad we were here to be a part of this. What a tremendous second half.
Ken Crowley was over there covering, but the guy that missed the tackle was Marcus Williams, who's a rookie out of Utah, and he had a chance to get him, and instead of wrapping him up, he just put his head down, tried to bump him. And that was a missed tackle, which then released Diggs, who went down the sideline and completed the 61-yard game-winning touchdown pass, and a touchdown pass that will live forever in Viking history, which will send them to the NFC Championship game in Philadelphia. That is an amazing play. Once again, the final score, 29-24. The Vikings have won. When we come back, Scott Graham rejoins us from our Progressive Insurance Studios with the post-game report. Get your quote at Progressive.com today. You're listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One.
Scott Graham in our Westwood One studios in New York following playoff football tonight in Minnesota. And if you're somebody who doesn't think the NFL is entertaining, please change the station right now. I'll wait. Unbelievable football game tonight in Minnesota between the Vikings and the New Orleans Saints. An amazing, amazing game that had more twists and turns than you could possibly imagine late, which is incredible considering the way this one started. Now the Vikings coming off their bye week, an opportunity for a win here, a trip to Philadelphia next week, and potentially to be the first team to ever host a Super Bowl. The New Orleans Saints, well, you know about what they are, a team that has found some great balance this year. People thought they might be able to challenge this very, very stout Vikings defense. But early on, this game was all Minnesota. They came out with the crowd behind them and all kinds of momentum. Their opening drive went 8 plays and 55 yards. Kind of a precursor of what happened for the rest of the night for Minnesota as they continued to move the ball well down the field throughout the first 2/3 of this game. This opening drive on 8 plays ended from 14 yards out.
Second down and 8 from the 14 in New Orleans. Keenum is under center. The spin, the pitch out McKinnon. Gets a block from the tight end on the number 15. He's on the 10 to the far side 5. Running into the end zone. Touchdown. Jerick McKinnon. 14-yard run over the left side. Got the tight end block. And the Vikings strike first with 9:45 to play in the first quarter.
So McKinnon with the touchdown, Forbath with the extra point, and just over 5 minutes into this ball game, Minnesota was on top 7-0. They rode that momentum really throughout the entire of the first half. Late in the first quarter, Kai Forbath hit a 20-yard field goal at the end of a 79-yard drive, and it was a 10-0 ball game. Then early in the second, the Vikings, at the end of a 12-play, 58-yard drive, just continued to pile on.
Vikings at the 1, first and goal. 2 tight ends, I formation, Keenum under center. The snap, the spin, handoff Murray. He spins off one defender over the right guard. Holds the ball over the goal line. Touchdown, Minnesota. 1-yard touchdown, spinning move over the right side. Latavius Murray. And the Vikings build their lead 16-0 over New Orleans. Early in the second quarter, the Vikings are running away.
They were running away, a 17-0 lead after the extra point. Each team missed a field goal before halftime, and it remained 17-0. And it seemed destined to stay that way early in the third quarter. Minnesota Vikings had the ball and they had a drive. They moved into New Orleans territory, but a big sack on Case Keenum forced them to punt the football away. That gave New Orleans their only possession of the third quarter. And that is when Drew Brees and his team came to life, taking over at their own 20-yard line. It took him 12 plays and more than 6.5 minutes to figure out a way to get in, but on his time, Drew Brees found his favorite receiver.
Under center with 2 tight ends, Brees 4 in the defensive line for the Vikings. Single back, he gets the snap, he fakes the handoff, he drops back 7. Cocks his right arm, arching spiral, wobbling into the end zone. Touchdown! Over the shoulder catch. Grabbed by Thomas near side. The defender fell. The ball left and then kind of wobbled as it made its way into the end zone, and Thomas grabs the 14-yard touchdown throw by Brees. Falling was Rhodes, the all-pro defensive back. And the Saints are on the board with 1:18 to play deep in the third quarter.
A distraught Xavier Rhodes, but New Orleans was on the board and they had life again. After the extra point with $1:18 to go in the third, it was a 17-7 game. This is a major tipping point of the game. If the Vikings were able to come out and establish that run again and establish the ball control again, it might have been over. However, Case Keenum, who hasn't made mistakes throughout this run by Minnesota, made an ill-advised pass. It was picked off, and it gave New Orleans a short field. It took Drew Brees 6 plays to cash in.
Second down and goal for New Orleans. Brees under center, 4-man front. He gets the snap, he fakes the pitch, there's a line drive in the middle, wide open, belt high, touchdown reception, Thomas. He sheds the defense, a laser thrown by Brees, a 3-yard touchdown pass, and the Saints are back in business. Brees has done it through the air. 17-13, Vikings lead cut to 4. Less than 2 minutes gone in the fourth quarter.
And we had ourselves a game again. Marcus Williams made the interception that set it up, and with 13:09 to go, it was a 1-possession, 3-point game. The Vikings went down on the ensuing possession and got themselves a field goal. Kai Forbath hitting from 49 yards out to stretch it to a 20-14 game. But later in the fourth quarter, fortune shined upon the Saints again. In fact, they made it themselves with a blocked punt that gave them a short field. Once again, taking over at the 40-yard line with just under 5.5 minutes left to go, the 40 of the Minnesota Vikings, Drew Brees was in business. And just before 3 minutes were left in the fourth quarter, Brees made one of those throws that only he can make.
Brees looks over the defense, brings his hands to his mouth, shotgun snap, drops back 5, cocks his right arm, throws an arching pass into the end zone, a leaping, backpedaling, touchdown catch, Kamara, heavily covered, touchdown New Orleans, 14-yard touchdown throw to the rookie running back, Kamara. Breeze has tied this game at 20 with 3:01 to go. And the place is stunned.
The place was incredibly stunned and almost silent, at least briefly, but if you'd stopped this game right there and said this is a ball game, you would have said one of the greats that you had seen. The extra point made it 21-20, New Orleans on top. But we had so much good stuff still left to go in this one. Minnesota got the football back, and Case Keenum, the guy who everybody had kind of frowned upon at the beginning of the year, led his team downfield on a drive. It stalled shy of being able to get to touchdown level, but Kai Forbath nailed a 53-yard field goal with just under a minute and a half to go, and Minnesota had the lead back. Another lead change, 23-21. But 1:29 left to go, and the New Orleans Saints still had time and a timeout. Drew Brees got it done in varied ways, including a huge fourth down throw to extend the drive to Willie Snead. He got his kicker in range with just under 30 seconds left to go in the game.
Will Lutz will try a 43-yard field goal in between the hash marks. Holding is Morstead with the broken rib. The ball put down. The kick is up, arching up, and good! The Saints have gone up on top. Lutz from 43. 24-23 New Orleans with 25 seconds to go. Our third fourth quarter lead change. What a game in Minneapolis tonight.
Stop right there, and it's one of the best postseason games in recent memory. But it wasn't over. 25 seconds left to go, and the Vikings still had themselves a timeout. They took over at their own 25-yard line after a touchback on the kickoff and had to burn a timeout early. So they were in a bit of trouble as they went from their own 39-yard line with just 10 seconds left to play. Where are you going to throw the football? What are you going to do? If you throw it too far, you can't get your lineman up in order to spike the ball for a field goal attempt. There weren't many options out there for Case Keenum. The only option left was to work his way into football lore forever.
It's third down and 10. Keenum is in the gun from his 39. Four-man front, six in the secondary. Shotgun snap. He moves up. He throws a long line drive on the near side. Leaping to a catch made. Oh, my goodness. It's going to go in for the touchdown. Grab by Diggs. He broke a tackle. 61-yard touchdown throw. The Vikings have won. The Minnesota Vikings have won.
Unbelievable. And Marcus Williams, who had made the interception that got the Saints back in the game, missed the tackle that allowed Diggs to traipse down the sideline and set the town of Minneapolis on its ear. The Minnesota Vikings now one win away from hosting a Super Bowl as they beat the New Orleans Saints 29-24. Kevin Harlan and Trent Green rejoining us now from Minneapolis. And guys, you start thinking about where this game is going to fit, where this ending is going to fit, and there's no doubt that it goes right in there with the Immaculate Reception, the Music City Miracle, the Hail Mary, all of those other postseason incredible moments. They haven't named this one yet, guys, but it fits right there.
Well, maybe the miracle in Minneapolis. I don't know, the miracle in Minnesota, but it was an incredible finish to an astounding second half and fourth quarter, certainly, Trent. I mean, we're still, like the crowd, cannot believe what we just saw unfold.
Well, and you and I were talking at halftime. It was 17-0. The Vikings were winning. It was pretty lopsided. You know, the Saints had missed some opportunities, but we didn't anticipate this kind of finish, and especially with the defense that Minnesota was playing. So Drew Brees came out and was Drew Brees. That's what you expect from a future Hall of Famer that's had the type of career that he's had, to come out and play that way in the second half, get them in position to where they had the lead with 25 seconds to go. So can't say enough about Drew Brees and the Saints and the season that they've put together. But how about Case Keenum and this offense for the Minnesota Vikings? They've been thriving on defense all season long. Number one total defense, number one scoring defense. You can go on and on about their defense, but it was the offense that stepped up huge here in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter.
I guess that is our Geico drive of the game, right?
It's got to be. It's got to be. The final drive of the game, they were trailing 24-23, 4 plays, 75 yards in 25 seconds. 61-yard touchdown to Stephon Diggs for the winner.
That's our drive of the game, brought to you by Geico. Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. It was so unexpected the way the game ended. And really, again, the Saints had a chance to snuff it, at least make a tackle on the catch. and the defensive back, a rookie, just kind of gave him a little nudge with the shoulder, went under him as Diggs was trying to acrobatically regain his footing after the leaping catch.
And that's one Marcus Williams after a tremendous rookie season, 4 interceptions, and did a great job. That's one he's going to have to live with forever because he missed that tackle and gave Diggs the opportunity.
Trent, let's select the Bosch Icon windshield wiper player of the game.
As much as I'd like to give it to Case Keenum because he handled this pressure of his first playoff game tremendous, threw for over 300 yards, I got to give it to Stephon Diggs. 6 catches, 137 yards, and one of the most memorable playoff touchdowns in NFL history.
He's the player of the game, brought to you by Bosch Icon windshield wipers with Clear Max 365 rubber technology. Bosch Icon, the calm in the storm. So next week, the Vikings travel to Philadelphia. They'll take on the Eagles, and that will be our NFC Championship game. How about a quick preview there, Trent?
Well, it's going to be exciting. I was surprised that the Philadelphia defense was able to shut down the Atlanta offense as much as they were able to yesterday. I was really surprised that they kept them in check and only allowed them 10 points on the day. So this is going to be another one of those defensive battles. Of course, you've got Foles over there for Philadelphia, who's filling in for the injured Carson Wentz, and Case Keenum is continuing his Cinderella season, and see what happens. But I'm excited about that one.
Trent, sure enjoyed it. Take care. Get home to Kansas City safe and sound. We'll see you down the road.
I enjoyed it, Kevin. It's always great working with you.
So much fun. That's Trent Green. I'm Kevin Harlan, and we have got a championship game set up next week in Philadelphia. The Eagles hosting the Minnesota Vikings, and also it'll be New England and Jacksonville. That's next week on Westwood One. We send it back to our studios. Here's the award-winning Scott Graham.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Obviously, one game that they're going to be talking about forever and ever and ever in Minnesota. Does this make up for the Hail Mary against the Dallas Cowboys? Who knows? But there's the other side of the coin, which is the New Orleans Saints, feeling like they had the game won. It got away from them. Their head coach, Sean Payton, reacting when the game was done.
Congratulate Minnesota. It was an exciting game, obviously a disappointing game to lose in the fashion we did. I was proud of our players, though. We fought back in the second half, kind of climbed back in it, made enough plays to put ourselves in that position. This will take a while to get over, but at some point it'll pass. It'll take a little bit of time. But I thought overall, I was proud of the fight, the way we played and responded in the second half. We dug ourselves in a hole in the first half, but in the end, we came up short.
Heartbroken head coach of the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton, as they will go home and the Minnesota Vikings will move on to Philadelphia next week. As we continue with the postgame show, we're going to tell you what happened earlier today in, I'll tell you what, could have been the game of the weekend if this hadn't happened in the National Football League. This is Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. Welcome back to the NFL playoffs on Westwood One. From the Progressive Insurance Studios, I'm Scott Graham. Progressive compares car insurance rates from multiple insurers so shoppers can evaluate options in one place. Now that's Progressive. Comparisons available at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Well, a game for the ages wrapped it up for a divisional playoff weekend. We started out earlier today with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Pittsburgh Steelers in the AFC competing for the right to take on the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game next weekend. The Steelers, number 2 seed, coming off their bye week. The Jaguars coming off a hard-fought battle with the Buffalo Bills. But what they had in their back pocket was a victory earlier this year in Pittsburgh against the Steelers by a 30-9 score in a game in which they picked off Ben Roethlisberger 5 times. They clearly are not afraid of playing in Pittsburgh, and they showed it early on in this one. Leonard Fournette, who had a huge game in the first meeting between the two teams with 181 yards and 2 touchdowns, scored 2 times in the first quarter, one of them coming as a result of a Ben Roethlisberger interception. Jacksonville, just over 10 minutes into this game, had a 14-0 lead. And when T.J. Yeldon went in from 4 yards out early in the second quarter at the end of a 75-yard drive, it was 21-0 Jacksonville. Stunned silence at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Steelers did come back. Antonio Brown, coming back off injury, caught a 23-yard touchdown pass on a beautiful one-handed grab in the back left corner of the end zone from Ben Roethlisberger to get his team within 21-7. However, late in the second quarter, Roethlisberger made another mistake, and it allowed Jacksonville to extend their lead.
Roethlisberger, quick drop out of the gun, pumps once to the right, now to the left, and he is going to go down. He fumbled the football. It's picked up by the Jags and Telvin Smith. He could go the whole way on the near sideline. Inside the 10-5, touchdown Jacksonville. It's a 50-yard return, and the Jags are on top 27-7.
Tom McCarthy right here on Westwood One. The 50-yard return made it 28-7 with the extra point by Lambeau, and it appeared as though the Jaguars were going to have themselves a 21-point lead going into the locker room at halftime. But Roethlisberger brought his team back, and on a big fourth down play with 25 seconds left to go in the half, he found Martavis Bryant for a 36-yard touchdown, making it 28-14 at the break. Now, the Steelers came out with renewed vigor to begin the third quarter. And a big drive to begin that third quarter of 10 plays and 77 yards. Ben Roethlisberger dropping one perfectly in the bucket to Le'Veon Bell. A touchdown on the extra point by Chris Boswell. It was 28-21, and we had ourselves absolutely a game again. But the Jacksonville Jaguars did what they needed to do all day long. Leonard Fournette got into the end zone with just over 10.5 minutes to go for his third score of the day. The extra point made it a 14-point game again. And that meant that the Steelers had to figure out a way to come back. Well, come back they did. Early in the fourth quarter, they continued to say, we have the momentum. And in another fourth down situation, Ben Roethlisberger shot the dice, and they came up 7.
Roethlisberger drops back to pass, steps up in the pocket, breaks away from one defender, throws long toward the end zone for Brown. He's got it! Touchdown, Pittsburgh! What a throw, what a catch, 43 yards. It's 35-27 Jaguars.
35-28 after the extra point, and all kinds of time left to go in this game. 9:05 still left to play, and it appeared as though the Jaguars were hanging on. But this was what the Jaguars did all day. They controlled the ball, and even though defensively they didn't put the kind of numbers that the number 1 defense in the NFL or the number 2 defense in the NFL did all year long, they got it done. The ensuing drive, they got it done again. 8 plays, 75 yards. Blake Bortles moving his team downfield and getting them into the red zone. And then, inside the red zone, he went to the least likely target to extend the lead.
It's second down and 8 for the 14. I formation. Bohannon, the fullback, off the play fake. Bortles to throw. Throws to the end zone to a wide open Bohannon. Touchdown, Jaguars. A 14-yard lob from Blake Bortles, and they continue to add on points. It's 41-28 with 4:19 to play in the fourth quarter.
Bohannon had been blocking a certain way all day long. This time, he just ran past the linebacking core, was wide open in the end zone, and with 4:19 to go, that basically was your ball game. Le'Veon Bell got in to make it a 7-point game, but the Steelers couldn't recover the onside kick, and both teams did score again, but the final 45-42. Jacksonville Jaguars making it to the AFC title game for the first time since the 1999 season, as they will take on the New England Patriots for the right to go to the Super Bowl. Now, everybody has always talked about Blake Bortles. Was he good enough? Was he the guy that was going to be able to lead this team in the playoffs? He threw for 214 yards today and 1 touchdown, also without an interception. And afterwards, he proved that what people say really doesn't matter to a hill of beans to him.
I really don't care. I could care less what anybody in here says about me or what anybody in the world says about me. You know, I enjoy going to work every day with the guys in that locker room and the coaching staff. I enjoy everything we do, and this is the type of stuff you dream of, is getting opportunities to play in games like this. I mean, I think talking to that, everybody's in the NFL here. It's the highest level of football there is in the world. You know, so I think it's tough to say, you know, somebody's not a good player, or somebody's trash, or somebody's this, or somebody's that. I mean, it's the best in the world. Everybody's a professional football player, and getting an opportunity to do it for a living.
Got to be nice to be Blake Bortles going back to Jacksonville tonight saying, keep talking, folks. We're going to the AFC Championship game. Meantime, on the other side, the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to get back there for the second year in a row, come up short. Ben Roethlisberger threw for 469 yards today. Remember those 5 picks against Jacksonville the first time? He turned that today into 5 touchdowns and only 1 interception. But the Steelers season comes to an end, and afterwards, media was asking whether or not Roethlisberger thought he would be back playing football next year.
Oh, I definitely have a desire to play football. I love this game. I love these guys. It's tough. It stings. You hate to lose it. You hate to lose it at home. I feel bad because I feel like I let the fans down, my teammates down. And you know, the fans, we gave them so much to enjoy and cheer for this year, but to lose this at home, there'll be some that say, it's okay, you know, we had a great season, thanks for the ride, but a lot of them are disappointed like we are. It wasn't enough. And I feel bad for that. I feel like I let a lot of people down, and I'll take it all on myself. That's fine, and I have no problem with that. And I don't know about contracts and who's coming back, but I know the guys up front are. And so I look forward to next year with those guys.
For the Steelers, it's time to talk about next year. For the Jaguars, it's time to talk about next week. The Final Four are set for championship weekend, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by our own Boomer Esiason to analyze what we've seen and what we're going to see. You're listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One. We continue along here on the post-game show following a rousing end to divisional playoff weekend here on Westwood One. Scott Graham in our studios in New York, and joined now by our own Boomer Esiason. And Boomer, the best thing I could say after what we just watched is go ahead and top that.
You know, Scott, I got to tell you, it was unbelievable. What an unbelievable 2 games we had today, Sunday, one on CBS between obviously Jacksonville and Pittsburgh. But this ending in the Minnesota-New Orleans game was one to take your breath away. I've never seen anything like it. And you talk about a team that is basically played great all year long and almost had it taken away from them. And then somehow Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs come up with the play of the year. I don't know exactly what Marcus Williams was doing, the safety for the New Orleans Saints. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions about that. But the ending between the Vikings and the Saints was one for the ages.
We'll start with that game and work our way backward, because in a lot of ways the Vikings, the Vikings had this game in hand, not just for the first half, but through the first drive of the third quarter, really. And what they proved, obviously, is that if you're Drew Brees, you're never really out of a game. The Vikings had that ability, though, to turn that into one of those laughers, one of those blowouts, and they couldn't quite get that done.
Well, it just goes to show you 2 things. Number one, the improvement by the Saints defense. I thought their pass rush and their pass pressure on Case Keenum in the second half was so much better than it was in the first half. But number 2, and maybe more importantly, it's just really, truly how great Drew Brees is. And as a player that played the position for 14 years, to watch somebody at his size do what he does is just truly amazing. I would say, for every inch he is, he's the greatest quarterback of his era in terms of the size that he brings to the field. Obviously, Tom Brady, I believe, is the greatest of all time, but he's an amazing football player. He still has a lot of great football left in him. You can see how these young players love playing with him and the opportunities that he presents. But, his second half was just absolutely stunning. And unfortunately for them, if they would have left, I don't know, maybe 20 seconds on the clock as opposed to 25, maybe they would have won the game. But I can't say enough about the way he played in the second half. He did nothing wrong. This basically was just an absolutely phenomenal game for both teams. It was a phenomenal game for both quarterbacks, and for Case Keenum to get this to happen for him, given where he is going into free agency, is nothing short of a miracle.
One time when you and I were sitting back and chatting and we're not taking up everybody else's time, you could explain to me why you're giving the ball to Willie Snead to throw it in the fourth quarter of that game. That's another story for another time. All right, so the game earlier today, the Jaguars and the Steelers, and, you talked about that with me this week on NFL Preview, the fact that the Jaguars had all kinds of confidence. Boy, did they show that going into this game. And, kudos to the Steelers again for not backing down when they were down 21-0 early in the second quarter of this game. But no matter what the Steelers threw at the Jaguars today, the Jaguars had an answer.
Scott, to be honest with you, I figured the Jaguars would stay close. In other words, they would cover the spread, if you will. I didn't think that they were going to score 45 points, nor did I think the Steelers were going to score 42 points against the number 1 defense in football. So this was a game that defies all the logic that you bring into a game with the 2 defenses, where the game was played. The one thing that you and I did talk about was the fact that the Jaguars have a 4-1 record since Ben Roethlisberger had been drafted back in 2004 by the Pittsburgh Steelers in Heinz Field. So the fact that they won is not surprising. How they won really is. To me, this was all about Leonard Fournette. I know everybody wants to talk about Blake Bortles. I think people just have a low expectation level for Blake. So he played a good, solid football game today. He was a really good quarterback. I thought their offense coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, called a very good game, called an aggressive game, especially in the fourth quarter. And I felt like, if Blake was going to win this game for his team, he was going to need to complete some really key third down passes. He did that. But Leonard Fournette was awesome in this game. And think about this. He hurts his ankle in the first half. He comes back in the second half. He's over 100 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns on the day. And for me, as far as the Jaguars go, is how Leonard Fournette is playing and the impact that he has on the game. And today he had a major impact against the Steeler defense that basically has lost its way since losing a number of guys to injury, including Ryan Shazier.
Leonard Fournette with 25 carries, 109 yards, and 3 scores, 5 touchdowns against the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. So Jacksonville now goes to the championship game in the AFC, and they'll take on a New England Patriots team. You want to talk about a team who did what they needed to do and took care of business last night? That's what Tom Brady and company did in that 35-14 win over Tennessee.
Well, he was fantastic. I don't think anybody expected him to throw the ball 50-some-odd times. I really don't. I think most people thought that it was going to be more of a methodical game plan, especially with Deion Lewis and James White healthy. But for some reason, Belichick and McDaniels basically came out and wanted to throw the football, and they threw it at will. And Tom Brady was great. His offensive line was awesome last night. When you look at that game and you watch the amount of time that he had in the pocket, he was able to pick apart the secondary. And for me, that was something to behold. I didn't think Tennessee had much of a chance in this game. I think you and I talked about it on preview. I said, look, going into Gillette on a Saturday night divisional weekend is basically you're asking for the best of the Patriots and the worst for your own team. And Marcus Mariota did get hurt. He pulled a quad muscle early in the first quarter. That affected him the rest of the game. It affected their game plan. There's no question about that. But the Titan defense definitely was worn down. Now, the interesting thing for me is whether or not Bill Belichick is going to present Tom Brady with the Patriot of the Week award this week after his performance. I know that was, very much written about the last couple of weeks and all that other stuff. But at the end of the day, if you don't give him the Patriot of the Week award, I think he'll just top his performance next week against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, he is the guy right now. When you start taking a look at the final 4 quarterbacks who are there, the guy who probably has the greatest credentials by 6 or 7 times over. But you take a look at what the Eagles were able to do against the Atlanta Falcons. They held on a throw in the back corner of the end zone to Julio Jones, which a lot of people after the game said that the Falcons kind of telegraphed what play was coming. But that game was absolutely white-knuckle time for the folks in Philadelphia, and the Eagles did what they had to do and held serve.
So people can understand exactly what the Falcons were trying to do. They were trying to do what the Kansas City Chiefs did to the Oakland Raiders, way back earlier in the year, where you look like you're going to throw a jump ball, you stop, and then you come right back to the pylon. And Julio Jones slipped. That's why the play didn't work. I don't care about telegraphing anything. If Julio Jones doesn't slip, Matt Ryan's going to throw the ball at the pylon. Julio Jones is going to get there, and he's going to make the play. Unfortunately, he slips. Therefore, now he's got to try to stand up. Matt Ryan's got to bide some time, which is exactly what he did. He throws the ball. It goes through the hands of Julio Jones. So that was not the initial play. That was just a reactionary play by both Julio and Matt Ryan because Julio had slipped on the play that was called. So, you talk about a team that had a chip on its shoulder, a team that really felt like it had a lot to prove. That's exactly what the Philadelphia Eagles did. Their defense was awesome. But I think, there was a chance there for the Atlanta Falcons really to take hold of that football game, and they never did it. And to the credit of Nick Foles and Blake Bortles, by the way, 2 of the more maligned quarterbacks, if you will, going into the playoffs, both humbly said after the game all the right things. They were good players. They didn't have to be great. They were average at best, I think. But they made key plays when their team needed those key plays to be made, and they came through in crunch time. So I give those 2 young quarterbacks a lot of credit for not trying to say something that they're not. I think they both were very humble. I think they understand exactly who they are in the body of what's going on for each of their teams. So good luck to them going forward. They're going to need it. I think the Vikings are a terrific football team, as I do the Patriots.
All right, so with this big weekend of football wrapping up, including this incredible day of football wrapping up, Boomer, it's time to select our AutoZone In the Zone Player of the Week.
It would be easy to select Tom Brady, but the Titans were so overmatched, so I'm not going to go with him. I'm going to go with Leonard Fournette and what he did today, especially after he injured his ankle. He came back on the field. Your teammates love that kind of stuff, and I think he inspired his teammates with his play and the fact that he was out there. So those 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards on 25 carries, to me says that he is the player of the week for Westwood One and, of course, for the NFL.
He was definitely in the zone. He's our player of the week, brought to you by AutoZone. Get in your zone with great value, offers, and free services that help your vehicle deliver its best performance. AutoZone has everything to get what you need. Get in the zone, AutoZone. All right, we got about a minute. Looking ahead, you've given and kind of tipped your hand a little bit. I don't think that you're in the minority at all, thinking that the New England Patriots will be a big favorite at home against Jacksonville, although everybody's doubted that Jacksonville defense all year long. And I don't think that based upon the way things have gone that anybody is going to think that the Minnesota Vikings can't go into Philly and beat the Eagles.
Well, two things for me, Scott. Number one is, it is Tom Coughlin, and it is a very good front four on defense for Jacksonville. Those were kind of the combinations that beat those great Patriot teams in the Super Bowl with the New York Giants. So he does have an answer to what the Patriots possess and all the questions that they're going to throw at you. But I just think with the way that the Patriots defense is playing, nobody's giving them any credit. And I also think that Alan Branch, the 6'6", 350-pound human dump truck, as Phil Simms describes him, will be back in the lineup for the defensive line of the New England Patriots. So that will help stop the running game of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just don't see Blake Bortles or anybody going in there and winning an AFC championship game. On the other side, as far as the Eagles defense is concerned, they're going to keep it close. If it were Drew Brees or somebody else playing for Minnesota, I think it would be an easy pick. I'm going to stay with Minnesota. I've been with them probably the last 8 weeks of the season. Their miraculous win tonight could actually work against them. It's such a powerful, emotional thing that you got to wait and see whether or not how they come out of it and see if they're flat next week because of the emotion that was attached to tonight's game.
Well, pal, appreciate your time, and we will talk to you as the week goes on.
Always look forward to it, Scott. Have a great evening.
You too. That's our own Boomer Esiason joining us. We're going to wrap things up when we return what has been an incredible night in the National Football League. Once again, our final score, Minnesota 29 and New Orleans 24. You're listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One. The final score, Minnesota 29, New Orleans 24. You've been listening to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL playoffs. Tonight's broadcast has been sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union, by Barbasol Shaving Cream, by Granger, by Ford Trucks, by Morton's The Steakhouse, by Kidda Fire Safety, by Progressive Insurance, and by NFL.com. I want to thank our crew for this evening, studio coordinator James Johnson, our studio producer Brian Finkelstein, production assistance provided by Michael Haggerty and Jeff Story, our statistician Pat McGrath, our spotter Eric Osmo, engineer Dan Robotham, our producer Aaron Cummins, coordinating producers Mike Eby and Larry Costigan. The executive producer of Westwood One Sports is Howard Deneroff. Now don't forget, next week it is Championship Sunday, the AFC title game, the Jacksonville Jaguars visiting the New England Patriots, and the NFC title game, the Minnesota Vikings, fresh off that miracle win in Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Our doubleheader coverage begins at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on most of these same stations. Log on to WestwoodOneSports.com for more details. From the wild card round all the way to the Super Bowl, hear the playoff picture unfold on Westwood One. Once again, our final score from U.S. Bank Stadium, Minnesota 29, New Orleans 24. And earlier today from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Jacksonville 45, Pittsburgh 42. For Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Laura Oakman, I'm Scott Graham. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to the NFL Playoffs on Westwood One.